We're talking about the April 8th eclipse and what should we expect, and also welcoming guest astrologer Christopher Witecki as we tag team live readings coming up right now.
He said it was like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You said like to summon your end table with this too.
My God, you're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that
always
make sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine. Somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come out here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on a culture.
Hello, beautiful souls. Happy Thursday night. How's everyone doing? What's going on? Is the chat popping over there? What's going on in this chat over here? Who's in this room? David Cruz, welcome. Jennifer Cruz, welcome. Back to back support of the Cruz family. Carmen Schatz, welcome. Nina, the wonderful mod, is here in the room as always. And we have Stephanie Panahara. Welcome. Good to see you guys. Rashida Rostanovic, Sydney Aaron, my love, welcome. Good to see you as well. Iggy, good to see you there. Valero, or Kristen, we'll just put it Kristen. How you know, like Valero, I was like reading it. This text is so small for me on my screen as I have all this stuff on the screen. Kristen, welcome. Erica, good to see you. Noel Way, Precious, how are you? Patty Snow, good to see you. Daryl Blankenship, Celeste, Erica Moody, and if I had mentioned you already, and Laura Jacques, welcome from Canada. I'm in Palm Springs. Hello to you. Erica R. Wine, welcome. Eric, welcome to the show. Laureen, welcome. Stephanie Whitaker, welcome. And it goes on, and I'm just not going to read all the chat, but everybody who's there, welcome. And Michelle, welcome. And those of you who are watching, welcome aboard. We actually have a guest today, as you all must know. Half you guys already know who it is. Christopher Witecki, Step Astrologer, we'll have on in just a bit. We will be doing tag team readings today. So we'll be doing something different, actually. So as you can see here, if you'd like to have a question done, one question is $30, two questions is $40, $50 for a live video. Now the prices are more because you're getting two for the price of one. You get a psychic assessment, then you get an astrological assessment. So when you send your money for your questions, make sure that you are putting your birthday in there, because that's what Christopher will need in order to look at your chart and look at the question and figure out what's going on with that, okay? So definitely make sure you're following those directions. PayPal, Venmo links are in the description, and how to do so is in the description as well. And those who book a live video will actually, you'll get, when you're ready for me, when I'm ready for you, actually, I will comment with the link and you'll join that link. So keep your phone by your side, and it will be commented in Venmo, the link to click, and you'll join and we'll get you on, okay? It's all live, it's all raw, it's not highly produced like Serious Joy. Those guys do Serious Joy, so I have just me, they have a team, it's just me. So there'll be little hiccups along the way, so you guys are chilling, we'll manage that quite well. And before we start, Nina has a wonderful message for you, so let's hear from Nina.
Hey y'all, it's me Nina. I'm excited to be here and do a poll for y'all. Already as I'm shuffling, the energy that I'm really getting is this week's been like running from this place to that place, and kind of like this energy of like running around with haste and feeling like the opportunity might leave or that you're running out of time. And what Spirit has to say on that this week, I feel like, is you don't have to chase. It's time for you to receive and let it come to you. And it's interesting, the card that came up was the be patient, it will come. It's the Sun card, so manifestation, power. The number is 11 here, so if 11 is a sign for you, but be patient, it will come. You don't have to run around, you don't have to, yeah, and the next card that came up makes so much sense for this. Two actually, they were stuck back to back, but this one is the don't worry darling, you'll find your way. So it's about overcoming obstacles with peace and ease, but also doing it in a way where you still incorporate joy into what you do. And the third card that flew out is I'm in divine flow and move in alignment. So no more, you know, running in all types of directions, but it's time to flow with ease and move in alignment.
All right, beautifully said, Nina, and that's very true. You just got to let things flow, let things go. And sometimes we do kind of hesitate too much, and sometimes we're kind of like stalling, and we're going with stalling. It's kind of like the energy that was for the past 2 weeks. It was a lot of that, you know, touch and go, stalling, and all that stuff. So yeah, let things kind of come more naturally and unforced. And so let's quickly do a collective read before we get our wonderful Christopher Witecki on, before we start our bro banter, right? And let's see what the collective read is first before we get into that. And so probably not 5 minutes, running a little behind, but 5 minutes we'll get them on. And so let's see what the collective message is. You know, maybe I should bring Christopher on for the collective message. Actually, we'll see that, because we're going to also talk about the April 8th eclipse as well, and making sure that the the eclipse period, as you've all been hearing, is it going to be a disaster? Is it all hype? Is it propaganda? Or is it just a typical eclipse? Let's figure it out. We'll get into that. All right, just shuffling these cards. Let's put on some theta waves. As you know, we like our theta waves, getting that kind of modality. And let's see. And we will get into readings a lot quicker too this evening too, being that there's going to be a lot more information going on. Okay? Quick collective read. Girls just want to have fun. Oh, interesting. This is a simple reminder. Simple reminder. Okay? I think just those who are in the room and those who are attracted to this message right now, there's going to be a lot of alluring energy for you guys. A lot of things kind of going, come here. Both on the romantic sector, even in the career sector as well, and things that you might find enjoyable in your life. There's going to be a lot of seduction coming your way. And so this might be a week or two of seduction. So, but you want to make sure that you're doing is that you understand what type of seduction it is and if you can handle it or not. And not everything that's seducing you and bringing you in is for your benefit either. But that doesn't mean things that are seducing you are also bad too. So I think now it's time to enjoy those little seductions every now and then and allow yourself to have fun and be a little free, because I love we got the Three of Pentacles and Three of Cups right side by side from each other too, which is all about celebration. And I was saying a couple of weeks ago, it's not time for party mode, but we're kind of saying it is kind of time to party a little bit. It is time to relax. It is time to, open up that bottle of wine that you've been, saving for a while, and just relax and understand everything that you've been doing for the past few months and what you've been putting out is actually working for you. And I know the things may not be tangibly manifesting right now, but you can sense the current has begun already. You can sense that, all your work that you've done is becoming to fruition in the energetic sense, which is showing up. You can taste it, smell it, and feel it in your mind, which means it's right around the corner from manifesting. So now it's time to relax and understand the seeds that you've planted, and especially this next few weeks will be more of that enjoyment phase for a lot of people, and allow yourself to let your hair down, so to speak. And I don't know what I'm saying because I don't have any hair to let down. I'll let my hats down, this evening. And remember, guys, you are the magician. And when the magician card, definitely pops up in a read, it's really much indication that you guys understand how to control and shape your reality, guys. And so now it's time to use that to your benefit. Even though we have to express our karmic, lessons and heal our karmic lessons in our past, and a lot of you guys have been doing that, that does not mean we're not the magicians or creators of our world. It doesn't mean we can't alter and bend reality. That is, I would say, the majority of those in the room are very much reality benders. We're all reality benders to a degree, because we are very insightful. We are very perceptive of the things that we need to shift and alter about ourselves. So reality bending means we're easily bendable ourselves. We're easy to be flexible in our karmic lessons and our growth. And so during this phase, it's also time to enjoy those little seductions, those little pleasures in life, to allow yourself to celebrate where you've come from and where you're going. So right now is like a phase that you're in betwixt the past and in betwixt of where you're heading. And I think that's a wonderful opportunity for you to celebrate, I would say, prematurely, right? Celebrate now before you celebrate ultimately in the future when things physically manifest. So celebrating before just means that you understand the essence that you've created for yourself. Celebrating now is saying to yourself, I've done the work. And the work is done. I feel uplifted. I feel insightful. I feel very much in control of my destiny. I mean, who else can be in control of your destiny? You're the one who freaking created it. You create it. You're in control of it. It's malleable. And as long as you're in tune to that. So this next few weeks, I'm going to keep it very simple. I'm not going to keep it very long because I want to get Christopher on. Is that please understand, remember to celebrate these things in your life. Remember to even, for me with my traumas, they're like now because I've overcome them and I've realized how it shaped me. They're like notches on my belt. I celebrate those traumas now. Not that I'm saying that their traumas are good energy, but I celebrate the fact that it's brought me a new perspective. It's revived my soul in a sense. So celebrate the things that you accomplished, celebrate those traumas you've overcome, and also celebrate the fact that you are alive. It's very simple as that. For a long time in my life, I would say to myself, I want to be one of those people that says, it's just good to be alive. And for many years, I couldn't say that. It wasn't until actually this year I can actually say, it's good to be alive for just no reason. For just no reason. The Virgo in me, the Virgo rising in me was like very trepidatious of saying that because there's so much stuff I have to do. But getting past that analytical side, getting past the strain and the judgments that we put upon ourselves because of where we want to be, kind of like doesn't let us stop and smell the flowers. And that's just such a simple message. And a lot of stuff is very stupidly simple. Like I always say over and over again, the universe is rather simple, but it's very complex though, but it's very simple in nature. And so all the laws are very simple in nature. So the most simple things have the most power. So again, stop and smell the roses. Remember why you're here. Remember why you're fighting to begin with. Why are you fighting? Why are you fighting for that relationship? Why are you fighting to get out of this turmoil that you've been in? What's the reason? What's the purpose? It's because you're strong and you have that power within to succeed and to thrive. Celebrate that, okay? So very simple message for the collective because we got more to do. We got more to take care of here. Okay, let me make sure I can send Christopher the link. Chris, you have a link, I think, if you just want to just click on the link I sent to you. Let me see if I can paste it now. We'll get Christopher in. Let me introduce him. You guys, a lot of guys know him already, but I will send him the link so we can get him on. And let's just see, who is this Christopher Witecki dude? Who is he? Well, Christopher is a gifted teacher and a spiritual life coach, web TV series host that combines unique talents from a form of cohesive life coaching program for people seeking to find their joy and happiness. His weekly series, Namaste Today, provides daily spiritual guidance inspired by astrology and focus on the individual, daily achievement, and practical applications. Witecki has pioneered a new art, not a new art form, but a new arm of astrological study he coins step astrology. His method combines the knowledge of numerology, astrology, and sacred geometry in a definitive step-by-step method to self-realization. He calls his approach the 11-degree step to serious joy. The method guides a person through a process of self-alignment, opening the doors for personal joy, and manifesting abundance. Who doesn't want abundance? We got abundance, but what kind of abundance do you want? Born to a psychic beautician and a nuclear engineer, self-proclaimed Jedi Knight, Christopher grew up in a spiritually eclectic household of Catholicism, Buddhism, tarot, Linda Goodman, and the law of attraction. He discovered his passion for studying astrology at the age of 19 while pursuing filmmaking in Columbia College in Chicago, Illinois. He's from Chicago over here. In July 2014, Christopher began his most recent web series, Namaste Today, which is where I first met wonderful Christopher. Christopher provides the zodiac weather of the day and speaks to a variety of spiritual topics. The weekly show can be viewed on the Sirius Joy TV, viewed on the Sirius Joy TV YouTube channel on SiriusJoy.tv or within the Sirius Joy Spiritual Life Coaching Services. So that's a wonderful, wonderful, I don't know if that's too long or not, but welcome aboard, Mystical Christopher Witecki. Let's get him on the screen here as we are glitching here. Add to the right. Let's get him on the screen here. There he is.
Hey, brother, how's it going? I was just
Christopher, how's it going? Yes, little laggy, a little glitchy. First time. I'm on the one-man show here. There's going to be some errors. So, we all know you from, of course, Sirius Joy and being a step astrologer, master step astrologer. But I'm kind of more curious, what really got you to dive deep into astrology and kind of starting your own, business and practice within the astrology realms?
The story goes, and I have a little bit of an echo somewhere. Is that on your side?
I don't know. I have echo cancellation on. Do you have that option?
I don't have that cancellation option, but I don't see them anywhere else. So I think it sounds okay. Okay, we're back. There was an echo there for a minute, but I'm back. Okay.
We're back.
Thanks, brother. By the way, you didn't have to read the whole bio. I was giving it to you for take excerpts.
I cut out some important stuff because some was important, but I wanted to read those 3 important. I cut out a lot. Yeah, I did.
Okay, good. It seemed like it went on forever.
It did. After reading, I'm like, The Virgo thought it was good. The Aquarius is like, nah, that might be too much.
It is like the whole Jedi Knight thing. So
I thought that was actually, I thought that was fascinating. That's why I concluded. I thought it was very fascinating, your upbringing and your background. It was very fascinating. That's why I wanted to know more, actually.
Yeah, my father, he taught us how to use the Force growing up. He wouldn't wear a seatbelt in the car because he had the Force. He was always talking about, Jedi mind tricking, and he was using it as an example of how to create reality. So I had a very mystical father, and my mom was a psychic, and she does tarot readings. So I had a real hybrid, really weird childhood, actually, which normalized all this for me. I mean, we were talking about past lives at age 6, basically.
Yeah,
so I was prepared for this, growing up for this role. But I actually got the story goes like this. I had a girlfriend when I was 19. She basically offered to read my chart. And when I got to her house, she seemed very upset. And she basically said, I'm going to break up with you, but I'll give you a reading. And I was like, why? And she was like, because you're all about career. I don't even see you getting married. You may even not have kids. She pointed out every flaw I had in my chart.
Oh, that's funny.
And I was so pissed.
That's hilarious.
I was like, no person's going to hold this over me again. And so I started to study. She offered to hook me up with a class. We actually got back together later because she realized she was doing karma too. But at that point, I was captivated. And then when I started reading astrology books, I would read it and I'll be like, I don't know if they have this right. And then I was like, wait a second, how the hell do I know if they have it right?
Right.
And I started to realize I had past life memories of it.
Wow.
So that just sort of awakened, and I had a natural, knowledge for it. So I basically ended up doing it professionally because I worked for Lifetime TV for women. I was a reality producer for a long time.
Interesting.
And this is like a staff of 45 women and 2 men, me and another guy. And so I had a line around the door as far as women coming by my desk asking about their boyfriends and shit. And the executive producer of the series is like, you're going to have to stop this because our productivity is... I'm like, I think I'm up on the productivity because they're not going to be thinking about their boyfriends. So I just started doing readings. And basically a woman named Lisa Roth told me, you are amazing at this. You're okay at TV, but you're amazing at this. She's like, I want to hook you up with some of my friends in Hollywood because my girlfriends will just eat you up. Well, she turned out to be David Lee Roth's sister.
Oh, wow.
So she hooked me up with all these executives in Hollywood. And I ended up actually even getting to the house of Courtney Cox and reading Courtney Cox and her man at the time, David. And at that point, I was like, okay, I think this is a profession. I think I'm actually probably good at it. And at that point, I realized, I think I need a website. So that's how it started. I sort of faded out of TV and faded in. And when YouTube came out in 2006, I decided to do video horoscopes because I thought that was a cool TV idea. Wow, think about that. A horoscope that's, that's video. That would be so cool, new age, and it's TV and whatnot. And I was the first astrologer on YouTube, the first one.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, the videos seem pretty high tech even for back then. I'm like, he had the backgrounds going on then too, so pretty well put together. And I like how you do a lot of comedy in there too. It seemed very down to earth, kind of it wasn't so far fetched where your average viewer would be like, huh? It was very relatable, and I thought that was very important and very a good marking point for that when you started. It was very relatable. And I think that's a wonderful essence of the work that you do. It is relatable, right? And so what's your goals now? Really quickly. I mean, I read that long bio. That was enough, right? But I actually was more fascinated by that because there's a lot I don't know about you. And so as I was reading that, today, I was like, wow, I didn't know about your upbringing, your mom, your dad, that environment. So for me, I'm like, I want to talk about this and bring that up because I know how much time we would have in the interview phase. But I'd say now that you've kind of developed your own network and you're kind of associating yourself with more, I would say, the spiritual communities, what's your master goal from that? What is your world mission in a sense for humanity? I'm gonna go really deep and philosophical for a minute.
Dear
on that.
Lord, The reason why I was born. Actually, it's funny. It's perfect. It's full circle. My intention is to launch a spiritual TV network. So, Serious Joy has a new version of our app coming out in July 1st, and right after that, we're launching Serious Joy TV, which is us doing pop culture meets spirituality.
Right.
And I'll just say, of which we are working with yours truly, as you know. Should we come out? Should we come out of the closet, Scott?
I think we can. I mean, I was trying to pull your pants down with all these questions to begin with, so we might as well.
Well,
shoot it off.
Scott and I we're working on a project together that we call LOL. So that's like our first project, and it should be coming out here soon. So the idea is for me, I really think that the way to get spirituality across is to do infotainment. Like, I feel like it has to be entertaining, it has to be fun. It has to be sort of like the same vernacular as TV. So I want to do reality shows about mystics. I want to do cooking shows for vegans. I want to do, all sorts of like television. I feel like this is the moment, and I was born to do TV. I love it. So I feel like building a TV, enterprise is the next thing on my ticket.
I agree. It's very, I would say, psychic of you too, because that actually is where things are going. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's going to be really much a new trend where it's not going to be about like so much networks, but it's going to be about like platforms and how these channels build their own platforms and almost branches out of that. So yeah, I definitely think that would be a wonderful shift in the right direction, actually. So let's talk about
time.
It is time. It is time. The old paradigm is broken, and I think it gives the spiritual community a bigger, platform to shine. And even for those who want to advertise with the spiritual platform, as you mentioned before, and just having a great network of such. And because of the tools we have now, everyone complains about social media, but they're great tools that we need to utilize to expand, right? And to do things that we need to do in that platform. So a lot of us are not being, complaining about it. We're utilizing it, and I think you've been utilizing to get to the best ability to expand and to cross network with different platforms and so forth, and people and individuals. So I think that's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. So let's quickly get into the topic, because we have so much readings to get to at some point too. Tell me about what is this April 8th eclipse crap, Christopher? What's going on with that? Everyone's freaking out about it. Everyone's saying that prepare for tornadoes and prepare for hurricanes. Is this hype, or is there something really in the stars, in the planets around April 8th that will cause some sort of devastation? What do you see?
April 8th is a solar eclipse. It's a full solar eclipse, so it's going to go dark on the Earth, at least the United States, in the path of the eclipse. Mm-hmm. Eclipses are, energetically what an eclipse is. When the moon eclipses the sun, what's happening is the moon is going in front of the sun. So you have the combined gravity of the sun and the moon in a perfect alignment. So it creates, first of all, a stronger gravitational vortex around the Earth. So it's a stronger gravitational event, which could cause geological issues such as volcanoes and earthquakes and things like that. So that for one is a possibility. On a spiritual level, it's at 19 degrees Aries. And Aries is kind of an aggressive sign anyway.
I was going to say.
It's male, right? 19 is love and Mars, love and Aries at the same time. So it's basically the sun and Mars energy is combined in this, which is basically your heart wanting something, your heart yearning for something. So it's an intense eclipse in the sense that it's an eclipse. It's got Martian energy in it. That Martian energy is multiplied by Aries itself. And then if that was enough of a party, there's also Chiron conjoining the sun and the moon exactly at 19 degrees. And Chiron is the ruler of Virgo, your rising. It energetically means healing, so it's the healing planet. So in essence, this is a profound healing that's going to happen. This is a major profound healing, or the completion of a healing. Now, here's the thing. The destructive part of an eclipse is if you haven't been on the healing path, this is going to knock you on your ass.
Right.
Basically, because you have been holding back whatever that dysfunction is. And so there could be people who go down from this eclipse, by the way, 4 or 5 days prior to 4 or 5 days after. So you really want to be in tune with your heart and in alignment with your heart. Now, I don't know why the government is putting out warnings for this eclipse. That's a question for your psychic ability. Do you pick up anything on that? Because I've been doing astrology for 20 years, 18 professionally, and I've never had the government put out warnings for an eclipse, ever.
You know, I think that because there is such a massive change going on, I think that people's emotions might be very much in flux too. And so I think it will, like you said before, that those who are not going through the change might be a difficult time for them, as I've been feeling too psychically as well in 2024, like almost like a tornado for certain people who are not, doing the work. So I think that this will be the antithesis of that. I think this will be the thing that pushes that into gear, this type of this retrograde, this eclipse experience. And so I definitely feel like people might go crazy. Those who are, preppers and those who are, focusing on the world's going to end might feel more of that, energy of that sense and amplify more of that Armageddon energy. So I think that people will be in an emotional a lot of people in an emotional discord energy in a sense. And almost like the end is near, right? So I think it's kind of like you always ask yourself: is it the chicken that comes before the egg, or the egg before the chicken? Type of ordeal. And I think like are they preparing us to be in panic mode, or are they trying to neutralize people who are going to be in panic mode to prepare for that? So I think it's kind of like they're setting the tone of how people will be. So it's almost like an alert, I would think, not so much a agenda to enforce people to become that way. I think it's what will occur. So I don't know if I got my words out correctly. So I'm thinking about 5 things at once about that. But I definitely feel like it's more about setting the tone of what's to come, because I think people will be emotionally erratic. And I've been saying for a while that, those who aren't doing the work, it's going to be like a tornado this year, a lot of movement. So, yeah. And will there be natural disasters in some form? Maybe. I mean, I think there'll be some hurricanes or storms, but nothing out of the ordinary that I think is more of a devastation. I don't sense any of that, but there might be a lot going on at once is what I feel psychically,
Well, there definitely will be. It's odd. I'm grateful for Biden's, former astrologer to warn everyone about the eclipse. That's above and beyond of President Biden. I mean, I've wondered if they're using it as a smokescreen for something else that they know may happen or whatnot in that regard.
I mean, it's possible, but election year, they love to amplify the fear. They love to amplify the fact some is going to go bad. True. We need someone to save us type of energy, or we're hopeless. So if they use something like a meteor, how many times was a meteor supposed to hit in certain years? I mean, so they always use something that's out of our control, so we feel helpless. And I think it's more about feeling helpless about something we can't control, so we can rely more on politicians. That's what I feel like it is. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Well, good. I hope that's the case. I'll actually be watching it myself. I'll be in Austin for the eclipse, so
yeah.
I'll do a live video. Let me know.
I think people themselves will be kind of shitty. I think, in that sense, people will be going out of whack. And I think that I've been seeing that kind of developing now anyway. People kind of going cray-cray and, feeling this imbalanced energy as I've been observing, as I've been kind of trying to evolve. And, for me, what's been interesting this period, I've been feeling like past two weeks very self-conscious of everything. And that's not like me, but I feel like it's a breath of fresh air too, right? And so I think that, some people will end up, instead of going with that, will kind of like let it be the detriment of them. And so I'm letting myself go with that like self-conscious energy and, stumbling upon myself to find like, hey, there's a new perspective. There's a new way I can approach things. So a lot of us are doing that in the room. And a lot of us who are watching are doing that, but a lot of people are not. And I think that's where there's going to be a major, I would say, explosion, of energy in a sense. But let's get to these readings because...
okay, man.
I'm trying to multi-focus here.
Yeah,
on
it's
this
a
stuff.
lot, isn't it?
Well, when I don't have Noel or people behind the stage, flashing the things and worrying about the echoes and all that stuff, it's like, yeah. But let's see here. Let me see who actually entered their things correctly. We have a lot here. Rashida did a video chat, so let me comment with Rashida on that. And send her the link so she can join in for a video chat here.
Cool.
Rashida, stay by your phone, Rashida, so I can actually do this. And this will be some time here.
You got to text me the date of birth too. It's a lot to do.
Yeah,
here.
and well, she's coming on video, so I'm gonna text her. She's gonna come on video in a second. Okay, here we go. Okay. So Rashida, go to your phone. I'm sending you a link and call in, and we'll get that going. And then we got a card pull for Daryl. Let's do a quick card pull for him. He sent that in before he knew you were going to be on the show. So let me just do a quick card pull for him while we're waiting for Rashida to come on.
Daryl. I see how it goes, man. Whatever, dude. We call us brothers.
Right? So Rashida, click on that link. It's in the Vimeo, right? Or Venmo, excuse me. And I commented on the transaction with the link. Click on it, and we'll get you on, and we'll do your your question with me, and we'll tag team it. And we'll keep it to one question, guys, so we can keep it simple and quick, and not so we're not over encumbered so much. And this is for Daryl really quickly, while we're waiting on Rashida. Okay. Gotcha. Well, Daryl, 8 of Wands. You definitely have, quick movement in the business sector. A lot of success going forward right now. They're showing that everything that you've been harvesting and nurturing right now is coming to fruition. And so it feels like, again, some sort of visual aspect, visual creation. It could be interior design, working on an interior design project, redoing a home. And I feel like there'll be another option unfolding for you. So you might have 2 different options to go, or 2 different opportunities to get this done. So they're kind of saying you're on the right path with this. And that, not that you have to choose between the 2 options, because sometimes the 2 of Swords means you have to pick. In this case, they're saying you don't have to pick. Either one will be good. You can include them in. And so they're saying this is good opportunity for you. And so if you had to pick one over the other, neither one will be better than the other, be equal in energy, equal in outcome. So if you want to take both, take both. If you want to encumber yourself with more of that, that's great. But they're saying good job on getting things rolling. Good job of clearing out the energy of the things that have been restricting you of your success. Now's the time to start moving. The things that you have been planted, the seeds you've been planted, are now starting to flourish, and things will start manifesting more in a sense of those I don't say communications, but they want to go to something else with where I was going. I was going to say business people, people coming in, but they're talking about actually personal relationships actually going to be mending for you in this time. So I think that there might be people coming from the past that might chime in with other additional advice, or maybe past partnerships that maybe you worked with that fell apart with are going to start coming in. Actually, I wanted to go somewhere else. Spirit's like, no, we're going here. We're going to past people coming in that could be very helpful. Do not turn a blind eye to that. Okay, because even though you set your boundaries, the people that might return from the past will be to your benefit. All right. And Rashida, where are you? We got to move on. Did you call? Did you click? What's going on? Let's get the video in, and we'll move on to see if there's another question for Christopher and I. So Christopher's not sitting there waiting like this with his head all night.
I'll be like a Price is Right girl, dude. I'll just be.
And especially, yeah, you look pretty. You know how I can, how I can have you as a side eye candy there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I'm your boy
She's
toy, yeah.
working on it. And what's your psychic expenses? I'm going to use your psychic expenses too. I'm going to do another card pull for Deanna, but I want to pull a card too, and I want to get your test your psychic abilities there, Christopher, because I know you do the astrology, but on a card pull that doesn't involve you, I want you to include your psychic abilities too, of what you can concur if you can.
I
think you can do that?
I also do better if you can narrow down to the sign. At least give me their sign. Yeah, I can do psychic, but it's great if I have the sign too. It's just something to hone in on.
Well, Deanna, if you're in the chat, add your sign, Deanna.
Add your sign.
Add your sign into the chat.
But I'll still go.
I love how they're so quick with the chat, but they're not so quick chiming in and calling in for their reads here. What's going on there?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a. There's a lot of weird technology stuff going on right now.
Is there? What are you experiencing on your end? Is it a little glitchy? Because you're perfectly clear on my end.
Oh no! I just mean in general. Like we're just having
general
weird shit happening. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Just weird stuff. I don't know if it's solar flares. I don't know what it is, but it's been weird.
And for Deanna, temperance, they're saying having more patience right now, as well as dealing with some sort of the King of Cups in reverse. To me, I don't really know how to place that in this read, because then we got the Six of Wands in reverse, and to me, Six of Wands in reverse is like taking some time on things. So that kind of correlates with the temperance, in a sense. To me, it feels like you might still be pushing. There it goes, the King of Pentacles on top of the King of Cups. Okay, you might be trying to push on a legal issue too much, too fast, too quickly. They're saying slow it down. Take your patience on that. Okay, and make sure that you're actually allowing this thing to unfold, the legalities to unfold in a way that's more, I would say, beneficial to getting you the information that you need in the right timing, not in quick timing, okay? So have more patience, have more diligence in taking your time of looking at every, dotting every I, crossing every T, and I think that's going to help you to get more of the information that you're actually looking for, because they're saying that you're looking for the information, but you're not necessarily getting it, but they're saying you're trying to speed the process. So slow the process down. And Christopher, she says she's a Libra sun, Pisces moon, and Virgo rising. She put bingo rising.
I know. I saw that. I was like, bingo.
Bingo rising. So
question. I missed her question.
So it was just a general card pull, but based on the sign, I guess my question would be is, what do you feel about maybe the legal aspect that she's going through right now? How do you feel like that would go for her if she's focused on getting some sort of legality, situation resolved when it comes to legal matters?
What I pick up psychically is there's going to be delays. I also feel that there's deception going on. I don't know if you pick up a deception, but I feel some deception. I think for the other party, I don't know if you've done some discovery, but I feel like you would do some more discovery. So my guys are saying you need to do some extra discovery. So something's been swept under the rug is what I feel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
On the other party. And I also get a sense of delays. I feel like whatever you're up against, there seems to be someone dragging their heels or deliberately
that
delayed.
makes sense.
That's what it feels like to me. So it feels like ultimately, though, success, I feel if there's follow through.
Right.
But this seems like some of it of a karmic test, too, at the same time.
Right. It makes sense. Because that's like, I feel like if she took the time, if you take the patience on it, Deanna, because we got the 2 payments. I know Nina's saying you got 2 payments in. And so the $30 is for that one question, both of us. You're getting the question for both of us. That's why I have Christopher answering that. And I think I agree with him, too, in the sense of taking your time on this, the legalities of that might unfold this year or that you're going through this year. And that, there'll be delays, stalling. I agree with that, too. Same thing. But resolution. Resolution, 100% resolution. Yeah.
If this is a relationship thing, like someone she's been in a relationship with, then there's definitely karma playing out.
Oh, for sure.
If it's a relationship. Yeah, if it's like a partner or something.
For sure. And she says, holy shit, yes. So.
Oh, good. We love those.
I hope so, because I think I'm juggling a circus right now with all these parameters here. So I'm glad something hit on there. Good.
That's great.
And so we have a question for this is Celeste. She is birthday is August 14th, 1973 at 8:14 a.m. And let me know if you need me to repeat that.
Do we know where she was born?
Celeste Javon, where location were you born? If you don't mind, maybe just throwing that in the chat if you don't mind.
August 14th, 73, 8:14 p.m. So yeah. And we'll just take this moment to say today's show is sponsored by... Just kidding.
Right.
Celeste, morning. Hi, Celeste. Where are you from? AM? Actually, we want to know where you're from, what city. Celeste.
Yeah, what city?
City and state.
We have Rashida in the guest room waiting too, by the way, so.
Okay, great. Yeah. So Celeste, thanks for the morning. What city were you born in? Okay, we might have to just go rogue here on this. Redwood City, California. Thank you. All right, you go ahead first, buddy. I'll run her chart.
Oh, the question is there anything specific I need to pay attention to when launching my business, One's Alchemy? Anything specific I need to pay attention? Let's see. Your generals, of course, marketing and all that great stuff and branding. That's one thing. But let me look at the actual foundation. It feels very clear to me. And I think that you're looking at the different variables needed well. So I think that's good. And I think that you feel structured with it already as far as, but I feel like the direction's missing on it. I feel like you have everything in play, but I feel like the direction or the way to refine the perspective on it is missing. It just feels too airy in a sense. So they're kind of saying that you need to find more direction. Everything feels suspended. It's funny I say this, and the hang woman is kind of sitting on the top of my deck here. Better careful with that word, right? On top of my deck.
I know. I'm like sitting on your deck.
But they're saying that, there needs to be more refinement and direction. And when they say direction as far as what is the actual clientele? Now, having a broad clientele is great in this matter, but maybe what is the actual specific niche of a clientele that you're looking for in this? And what is the overall purpose? And to which degree? Is it going to be medicinal? Is it going to be a hybrid? So be more refining on the direction of such. And I think then you'll have, more movement moving forward in that. Everything feels well structured, like you got everything in play in that sense, or will have, but the direction will be to something you'll have to keep brainstorming on and be more refined on that. Christopher, what do you think?
I think you're spot on, man. She's got Jupiter going through her 9th house, which actually means that she's really kind of in beta right now. She's refining her purpose. So when you said as far as direction, I say purpose. Like it's not quite clear what the meaning and what's most meaningful and sort of boiling it down. So her astrology shows that she's going to be boiling down the real purpose of this between now and around June 30th, July 5th, let's say 4th of July. And then the fireworks are on 4th of July. In fact, starting 4th of July, it's a boom for career for a good solid two solid years. So it's going to be a career boom. But there's also at the same time, she's got to be she needs to learn how to support herself for this new role. So her current relationship with herself is sort of like entrepreneur wannabe, and she needs to actually shift the way she treats herself to entrepreneur is. So there's part of what we're waiting on is for her to sort of do a wardrobe change and approach herself like a success instead of approaching herself like a success intention.
Wow, that's well said, I would say, because I agree with all of that, actually. Yeah, and I like what you said about keeping her like a professional, like teaching. See, I'm stumbling on my words. This past couple of weeks, I never stumble on words, and I love it. But treating herself like a professional, you know what I'm saying? And treating herself like not that you just have this idea and like, oh, I'm flighty about it and not believing. Like believing you are a professional, see it being done in a very professional light, I think will help you get in the modality of how to really structure this and push it forward. So I agree with that. We have Rashida. Now we're going to add. Let's brace for adding a third to the mix.
All right, Menage. Hey,
Menage tres. Okay, Miss Rashida, what is your questions?
Can
What's
you
your
hear
date
me?
of birth first? Yeah.
Yes.
You can hear me just fine?
Yep, we totally can.
Totally.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Can you give us your birthday information first before your question? I'm sorry, take over your show, Scott.
No. Totally fine. 8/18/76.
Okay. Do you know what time?
7:34 a.m.
Okay, cool. And we'll get better at this so it's backstage. And what city and state?
Waukegan, Illinois.
Christopher, you can co-host. It's quite fine. You can totally help out and interject. I'm good with it.
We'll be right back after this commercial.
Because that gives me time to read and see what's coming next. So it's good. So ask the question to me, Rashida, and I'll answer it psychically, and then Christopher will confirm it with astrology. So what's the question?
So my question is actually about this summer for me, relating to work. So not just for summer, but also for the rest of the year, ultimately. I'm just kind of curious. I know I know the summer doesn't have like hot girl summer in the cards for me. I'm totally okay with that. Like I'm so focused on, other things. But yeah, I just want to, I'm curious about like what I'll be doing. Like, will I be doing the same as last year or?
I think looking at, and I'm not just looking at career too. I look overall. I feel like with the work that you're doing, feels like, and either the place of business that you're working at or where you're working might have a restructuring going on. So they might have like personnel changes or something of that nature. So I think that you might find that things might be a lot easier and lighter for you, I would say, this summertime when it comes to work. So almost like easy breezy energy. But I think I find a lot of contemplation though, because even though your place of work is maybe shifting and restructuring, you're saying, well, I might want to restructure certain things for myself. So even though it'll be easy breezy with work, I feel like, intellectually, spiritually, you'll be definitely feeling like, I'm going to start making some changes. I'm going to start maybe changing my house around. I feel like a lot of shifting in that regard. And so it's more about getting your energy to get into a newer paradigm. And I think it's very spiritual. It's very mental in that sense. But I think that you'll start enjoying that space and that airy space. Do I sense love? No. I do feel like a new friend will be coming in, a kind of tight girlfriend, that might come into your experience. And so you might find a friendship in that regard that could actually be a hot girl summer in a sense, depending on where you go, right? But really is focusing on the restructuring and, bringing some air back in to reconfigure. And you might, again, like I said, change your home around a little bit. Go with that vibe. Christopher, what do the stars say?
The stars say, actually, here's what's really a trip. She has the exact same rising degree as Celeste, our last customer. That was
wow.
Yeah, exactly the same. So this is going to sound like I'm repeating myself, but You're in a preparation moment right now. You're about to transform, finding the real purpose and meaning of what your career is. And you're going to have your Jupiter return is going to happen around May 20th or so. And it's probably going to be the inspiration for a new idea. So I feel that you're going to be inspired by a new vision or something that you want, or you're going to realize that you're very intelligent about something that you hadn't really given yourself credit for, and your career is going to actually expand. I predict that probably a promotion or some sort of new assignment by August or September. So you are up for a promotion, you are up for an escalation in your abilities, or a reassignment to a new vision or whatever. I agree with Scott. I don't think it's going to be pressure. I think it's going to be easy going. I think you're going to find that it's right under your right in your hat, so to speak, that talent. And with relationships, I agree with Scott. Actually, you have to first get married before you get married. And a marriage in my lingo is that you actually are leveling up in your relationship to yourself for your success. So it's kind of chicken egg. The success might come, like the opportunity, and then you might go, oh crap, I got to level up. Or you might level up and go, okay, I'm not the same girl I used to be. And then suddenly it draws in the promotion or draws in the opportunity. But you're about to go through, just like our last person, a 2-year career boom.
Mm-hmm.
A 2-year career boom, starting probably around July 5th again.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, totally, absolutely love it, and it's already been kind of happening actually, and I'm so open and ready, and so I love the confirmations, and yeah, really cool.
And right before it does that boom, like you're gonna feel it's like I need to restructure something. I just have to like move something around and change. You're gonna feel that energy right before it becomes a tangible manifestation. Right before it comes to you, you're gonna feel that need to change something and restructure. So I think that's gonna be your tell sign. It's right around the corner, you know.
Nice.
Yeah, you're becoming a new person for love. So you kind of remarry yourself and date yourself for a few minutes, and then I think you'll draw on that person soon if you're interested. And when I mean soon, I mean within the next year. That's soon.
I was saying 2025-ish.
Yeah. Well, you have about I think actually your career is going to steal the football, and you're going to be too busy.
You know, I love that actually. So, I'm so more open to that. So yes, that's great.
I think awesome. It's a long time in the making, so you deserve it.
Awesome. Well, good to see you, Rashida.
Thank you so much.
Got a face to a name. I've been chatting with you forever. So nice.
I know. It's so cool. Like I love it. I love you guys. Like it's I'm so grateful, Chris, that you had Scott on your show, because that's how I got introduced to Scott. I've been watching you for years. I love how you came back from this break that you took. It was awesome to see. You were a new person yourself. Like I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Thank you.
I'm glad he came back too.
Now she's a Leo, so the proper term is Your Majesty.
Yeah.
The Queen will rise again this summer. Come back and tell us how it went.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see you every week. You'll be keeping us posted. I said post-dated. You'll keep us posted, of course, I'm sure. Bam.
Anyway, there we go.
Good night. Good to see you, Rashida.
Thank you.
Good night, love.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That was great. Now you guys in the room get to see what Rashida looks like too. She's gorgeous. And Allison Fitzwilliam, I had sent you the link for the video, so please click the link in the Venmo comment section so we can get you on. And while we're waiting for you, we'll see someone who asked a question that's non-video. And so far, everyone's been kind of doing well as far as following the. Well, some people following the.
Ooh, I think we have an all-time record on numbers tonight, Scott.
What's that?
66. We have 66 live right now.
66. I mean, I used to have that on Instagram. People like to Instagram. I don't know why. Instagram was. I shifted to YouTube. Like, oh, come back to Instagram. Like,
Well, for YouTube, I've been watching you grow week after week, and this is a moment. Yeah.
Okay, cool, great. Thank you for that, Sarah Cheney. We need your birthday, please. You put Scorpio rising, Airy moon. What is your birthday, so Christopher can concur with the read? So if you could put just in the chat, if you could put your birthday, place it. I mean, I know it might be personal, but either do that on the chat or on the Venmo. That would be helpful, so we can answer the question. We'll see who else has actually gotten their stuff. Oh, and we have Nina. Nina's birthday, Christopher, is January 9th, 1997, Palos Verdes, California at 9 a.m. And she just wants to do a general read. And I'll chime in first, of course. Nina, generally speaking, and I know you, so this is coming from me knowing you, but I'm going to put that aside and just see whatever Spirit wants to tell you right now. And right now, what Spirit wants to tell you is that you're booming right now. I think that you're now focusing on a mission. You're now focusing on things in your life that are more important than the things that have been holding you back. So I really feel like you're finding your purpose. And I think your purpose in itself is creating healing for you. I think the purpose in itself is creating healing in the sense of you're actually allowing yourself to overcome those traumas, allowing yourself to become more refined because of those traumas, and actually using that to apply that into your gift. So I think this year, primarily, you're going to find more sense of community, more connection to community, more leveling up with your abilities, as well as even with your partnerships are going to be expanding in the career sector. So maybe you and Lafayette will actually becoming more unified in the career choices in this summer as well. So I definitely feel there's a lot of your guys just want to say you're booming. You're starting to boom, 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 boom. And so I think this year is very indicative of that on the emotional and spiritual levels, as well as how you're utilizing those traumas to apply them into a gift and to an ability that you have to really to not so much help others, but to hear yourself better and to understand where you're really feeling and where you're really going and what you're really thinking and processing. And like me, I feel like you might have been having a lot of insecurity moments. Go with them. I'm riding with them. I love taking a piss on myself, so now I have more opportunities to do so. Let that be a way to find more humor in yourself so you're not taking yourself so seriously. I'm thankful for that moment too, so be thankful for this moment of not having to take yourself so seriously. And that's where you're really going to start becoming more of that boom. Christopher?
And I just want to verify it was January 9th at 9:08 a.m., right?
Oh, let me see, sir.
Could you verify that for me just to make sure?
Sure, I will verify. Yeah, January 9th, 1997, 9 a.m., Palos Verdes, California.
Roger. I remember that day very well. Actually,
it was only a few years ago, wasn't it?
Just a couple. Okay, so... yeah, I see the serious part. So you have this past life wound where you were way out of character and made an ass out of yourself. And so you were born a little bit kind of wound up and worried about making mistakes. And so Scott is 100% on in the sense that you are relaxing and coming into your power now and your character and really identifying what you want to be when you grow up and what role you want to play. This is a lifetime, by the way, where you are meant to make a name for yourself and leave your name behind in the world. So you are going to develop, to give you some clues on this, character that you're developing. It's some sort of an influencer, a manifester, someone who ends up shifting, changing the world. You made an agreement with God, which is Venus on the galactic center, that you would make an impact on the world. So I think that you're now coming into the strength and the character for that. You're in countdown to what we call your Saturn return, also known as the "oh my God, I'm turning 30" crisis. But I will say at that crisis, that will be probably when you launch a business or something. So you probably are going to have your own, I think you're going to have your own business that, here's the last thing I'll say. Your business has to have your name on it. So if it has a brand, make sure your name's included because you haven't left your name behind on the earth before.
I love that, actually.
That's where I'm at.
I love that. And make sure, Nina Lafayette, because I feel like, again, Lafayette will be a huge, I would say, partnership with the two. A huge contribution to it as well. So I agree. I love that.
I miss what Lafayette was, but I'm with you.
What's that?
What was Lafayette? I missed that.
Lafayette's her boyfriend, her partner.
Oh,
Lafayette's,
forgive me.
he does all the sound bathing.
Okay.
What's that?
I was thinking Lafayette, Indiana. I'm from Indiana.
Yeah, no. Her boyfriend's Lafayette, and he does the sound bathing. I do usually at the end of my lives.
I love
that's her boyfriend. Wonderful person. We have now Allison coming. Allison, are you ready to come on? She's in the backstage, making sure she's walking around. She can come. Are you ready to come on live? We'll put her on anyways. You are here, Allison.
Hi.
Hi. And so for you, Christopher, it's April 26th, 1973. And what is it there? Where were you born? The place of birth and
it's Marion, Ohio. And I think it was around 9 a.m., but I don't know exactly.
Okay, and you might have your monitor up still in the background. Because we're getting a little bit of an echo.
Yeah.
Are you still watching? You watching the show in the background?
No, I hear that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but Not sure why. And it's, how do you spell Marion? Did we lose her?
Marion.
Thank you. I am not Marion, Ohio. Okay. Thank you for that.
Okay, and the question is for me, for us actually. I'll read the question first. I really need to make a decision on whether to stay at a job, and maybe you should ask. Why should I read the question? Why don't you ask it? You're here. I'm reading the question. So what was the question?
Yeah, tell us your question.
Okay, I've been at a job. I'm a nurse for 7 years, and there's been a lot of changes. There's been a lot of turmoil, and I take care of an elderly mother. So I'm not sure if I should move or should I stay there. I have interviews coming, but I'm really not, I don't know what to do.
They're saying right now, stay put. I just heard that very loud and clear, to stay put, mainly because, I think what's happening with you emotionally and subconsciously is that, you're taking care of your mother. You're really trying to escape that emotionally in a sense. So you think by changing your external circumstances, that'll make it easier. So they're saying stay put right now. I think, probably by the end of the year, there'll be an opportunity that you might connect with that's really going to, be more in alignment to how you'd feel. So I do sense there will be a change. And you might be more psychic about it right now and feeling that. But they're saying stay put for now. It's more so toward the end of the year. I think an opportunity will unfold for you that'd be more, I would say, less cumbersome than what you're doing now in conjunction with taking care of your mom. But I feel like right now your energy has to be at a plateau for a minute and just absorb and don't over encumber yourself with too much change. And so this way, by the time November, I don't know why November comes up to me, that might be the opportunity that really unfolds, or you start deciding for the next year when you'll actually be taking that next opportunity. Christopher?
And let me just reiterate, you're contemplating whether you should move and whether you should stay in your job, both?
Well, because, I've been there for 7 years, so I have a lot of, like if mom is sick, they understand. Whereas if I go to a new job, they're going to give me a hard time. They don't understand that I'm not somebody who calls in. I've got street cred at my current job, but there's a lot of emotional turmoil there. So it's just been hard.
The emotional turmoil is because you're actually facing your karma through the employment. So you're healing. I think the employment is triggering your karmic issues. Your karma is being in the wrong job, by the way. you made a poor choice in a career. Yeah. Because you don't choose with your heart and your intuition. You choose probably for like monetary reasons. And the thing is because in a past life you messed up as far as your career and your legacy and what you wanted to do, which is why you have this sort of feeling that maybe you're not in the right place. I mean, even when you're in the right place, you're going to wonder if you're in the right place. That's your karma. But I think you're actually working through that karma right now. And your astrology shows that you're up for a major career change probably in about a year. Probably in about a year. Yeah, okay. Well, embrace this. Go ahead and work out all the crap on this job's reputation and then start fresh when you go to the next one. When you get the next one, you won't bring that karma with you if you close the karma in this one. And most of the karma, by the way, is that you're not listening to your heart or your intuition. Like you're being too logical, you're in your brain. Your mind is overcompensating.
I think you and I talked about that before, love, Allison. We talked about that before.
There were some other different things going on at that time, and now there's some new things. And I want to do other things. Like I don't want to be a nurse anymore. I want to be like a spiritual healer, but I don't know how to even do that. So.
Well, of course, as you know, it doesn't happen overnight, right? So there's a way to process, like Christopher was saying, that karma and understanding to trust your intuition, trusting your guidance and insight. So there's way you have a lot going on your plate right now that you also have to solidify and smooth out a little bit. And so right now is the time to brainstorm on this. And like I said, at this plateau period is a time to brainstorm. So if you say you want to be a spiritual healer, it's very simple as how do you see yourself doing that? What is the niche, right? That you want to express that, and what can you do to bring the skill sets and talents that you have now to get that going, right? So now let's start brainstorming. Imagine, because right now I think you're in this cycle of like, I don't want. That's not really getting you to think outside the box. You just keep yourself in contempt, right? And I was talking to what's that?
I play it safe.
But that's not playing it safe, because that's damaging you, my love. That's not playing it safe. Is just like I don't have anything bad, anything good. I'm just coasting. You're putting yourself through the ringer too much with that emotionally, right? And so right now your intuition is saying, let me just chill. Let me focus on my mom right now and just kind of brainstorm a little bit, because I do feel like by November there'll be a shift, in a sense of a new opportunity, not the major one that Christopher's talking about, but some that plucks you a little bit further. You know what I'm saying? As a little stepping stone. And so, but I think, a lot of this is, I agree with Christopher, not listening to your intuition right now to smooth it out, to see ahead and understand, I understand the contempt that you have, but there is more about kind of enjoying the moments that you have now too, very simplistically and cliche in a sense, so you can just be present for a minute.
Be present. Yeah.
And that's stupidly simple. I mean, it's so dumb and simple. And sometimes we just got to hear it so we can remind ourselves that, I'm not doing that,
Your clues are in the moment. So I think what's going to happen in November, looking at her astrology, is her heart's going to figure out what she wants to do. So right now, spiritual work is sort of vague, but you actually have an Atlantis past life that is awakening right now. So you have some past life talents that you haven't accessed or realized yet, and that's what you're going to be doing in light work. But it is time. You are here to be a spiritual light worker. You are. And Saturn just crossed your midheaven, which means it's time to start studying and figuring that out. It's going to take a year for you to ramp up that skill set. So take advantage of the security of this job. Plus, this job has a lot of clues as to what you're going to heal and what you're going to do. You're not there by accident. It was destined there. Oh, I see your dog's nose. So a big dog knows the frame.
So how do I work this out exactly? I just stay in the present.
That's what I was trying to offer you, is that kind of just emotional soothing right now. Like you're trying to jump to A to Z, and that's keeping you in this cycle. And so I think what you need now is just to smooth it out, set a game plan for yourself. Because yes, things will be shifting, but you have to understand specifically where you want to be. It's very simple as designing the new paradigm. By saying, I just want to be this, it's like, okay, but how does that look? How are you going to allow yourself to transition into that psychologically? And setting out a game plan. But that's what I'm saying. That's why you're stuck in this loop. You're not keeping yourself safe. You're dragging yourself through the ringer. So what you do is write it down. Start envisioning that. Take some meditation to where you start saying, what does it look like if I was a spiritual healer? What is, based on the experience I have as a nurse and working in a nursing environment, what can I use to apply that into that newer direction? What does that feel like? Write it down. So it's about reimagining that, re-envisioning that. That's kind of what you should be doing now, because Chris is spot on with of course, the past and the future. But I think right now that's just that if we go more into that, you're just going to not be present with it, and you're just going to not understand the process right now. And I think your issue is the processing. You know what I mean? So and so I agree 100% with Christopher on what he was saying. 100%.
Do I need to sign up for classes or anything?
Yes.
Whatever helps you. Yeah.
No, this is the learning time. What you're doing over the next year is you're finding your niche. You're figuring out where you belong in society, like who you want to serve in society, and you're starting to awaken your Atlantean life, where it looks like you were some sort of a teacher in Atlantis. It looks like a teacher. Yeah, it's Atlantis. I was going to say it could be Lemuria, but I get a strong no. It's Atlantis. So really, actually, you do good with some meditation and connecting to your spirit a bit. And doing some downloading. Yeah.
That's what I was doing on Thursday night. I'm going to meditation classes.
Oh, good. That's perfect. Because I think you have to connect to your subconscious. You're going to recognize that you have a talent that you haven't recognized. And then, so basically over this next year, you're figuring out where you belong, what your talent is, what is meaningful and purposeful to you. And probably, I agree with Scott, in November, your heart will know, like, yes, this is it. So don't worry. You're meant to succeed in your career because you failed in the past life, and that's what you have to correct.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, Allison, good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Welcome. You too. Thank you.
Blessings, my love. Blessings.
See you next time.
Everyone keeps putting in readings. We got to close it down somehow so people don't keep chiming in. And I'll refund whoever we don't get to by the time of the closing too, because it's just too much, of course. And so we'll get to ones. And some people left money here, and so they didn't really put the question. And so just those who are watching, we're closing down and not taking any more readings. We have to catch up on. So and those who are... We got to get to the ones who don't follow directions as far as their birth date and stuff. But we have a question from Elizabeth Weaver. She's step 10, Aquarius 29, Scorpio moon, step 26, Pisces rising. Is that good enough for you to answer a question? Or do you need other?
Say it one more time. The rising is Pisces, 26.
Yeah,
what else?
step 10 Aquarius, 29 Scorpio moon, step 26 Pisces rising.
Okay. All right, what's the question?
Career evolving, need to step up to next level financially. Which path? Let me see. It's kind of a loaded question. Let me see. Career evolving, need to step up. I'm trying to go quickly, speedy with the readings too. What is it to next level financially?
You'll be fine. Next.
Money's coming tomorrow. Bye-bye. See ya. No, the question, I'm sitting on the question too, Elizabeth Weaver, because I feel like it's already going there. I feel like you have the syndrome of, I got a little bit, I need more. I got a little bit, need more. So you're not really enjoying the little bit that you're getting now. So they're saying it is going there. So, the path, the path is very general in the question. So I think that you already are on the path. And to be general to the general question, I feel like there are probably two different branches of the path that you are on that may extend kind of what you're already doing. So there might be other aspects you do have to extend or little branches you have to create to kind of unify this one path. And so I think, by September, I'm feeling two different opportunities branching off from your career right now. And two different, either it could be contacts, business partnerships, or different branches, literally speaking. So I do definitely feel like there will be that type of expansion in that sense. I think you're already on the path. I think the problem the reason why you're asking the question is because you understand there's going to be a lot of more expansions, a lot of branching off from what you're doing. You already are having that. Please don't have the syndrome of, I got a little bit, I need a little bit more. I got a little bit more. Let yourself enjoy the evolution of such. But like I said, by September, I feel like these two branches manifest or come out from the stream. And I think that would be something that's going to evolve your career in a sense that's going to give you more resource, more sense of community, and also different business connections in a sense. So it is expanding. Christopher?
So, yes, I mean, the core issue here with the 26 degrees Pisces rising and 20 degrees Scorpio moon is you're supposed to listen to your heart and follow your heart. And you're an Aquarius. So Aquariuses tend to kind of they sort of are inside out when it comes to their heart. They're trying to find what their heart likes in the outer world. So it's like they're sort of looking for their match in the outer world. You got to be a little bit more clear on what your heart wants on the inner world. But you are here to have a reputation in the society. You are here to be someone. So if some of your career ideas don't involve being in the public, like if you're hiding in your career or you're not comfortable being in front of people, that's probably one of the big hangups that's going on right now. You are meant to listen to your heart. The other aspect too is right now you're actually in a karma transit. Saturn's in your 12th house. So a lot of the work going on right now is you coming full circle with some of your spiritual lessons. And most of the time when there is a Saturn in the 12th house, people's career is sort of on hold. So honestly, I would think that your career you're going to really understand who you are and who you're meant to be 1 year from now. And I give you a full pardon. You don't have to be successful in your career for a year. You're meant to be successful with your soul right now.
That's great. I love that, actually. So, yeah. So I hope that makes sense for you, DeAndre. And things are happening. Things are working. So not DeAndre. That was Elizabeth. I'm sorry. I'm on to DeAndre.
All your
and DeAndre Tanton is next, February 20th, 1960, 4:23 a.m., Baltimore, MD. I'm trying to put a little graph here to cover this so we can actually conclude.
Oh, gotcha. He's hiding.
Yeah.
Stop spending money, please.
Stop throwing money at us.
What's this person's name? Alexandra, is that what you said?
DeAndre Tanton is.
DeAndre.
And, yes. And Larissa, we'll be in one moment, Larissa. Yeah, DeAndre, do you want the information again?
I got
Christopher?
it.
Okay, got it.
1960, right? Yeah.
1960, yes. The question is, what is your advice for my developing art career? I immediately heard publications for some reason. This isn't really much advice. That is, I'm sensing a prediction on this. You will be somehow featured or actually utilizing the form of publications to display your art, which is interesting. So I am seeing a connection with literary, with the art too. And I feel that there is maybe even a book that might be published that will utilize some of this artwork. So I'm definitely sensing that literary connection. So my advice in the sense of during this time is to associate with other type of creatives, not just in the art space, but literary space, the intellectual spaces. Because I feel like that's really going to kind of branch off with your art career and give you more of a platform to expose your art in different formats that you never thought before. It's advice, but it's also a prediction for me because I feel like it's going to happen anyways. And, you know, cliche, it might sound cliche to say, I see you also connect with an art gallery in a sense, but it feels more like performance. So I'm not just trying to be cliche about visual art, but just saying art in general. There might be some sort of displaying or some sort of a performance connection to your art as well, probably within the next year or so, that will kind of connect with different types of artists that do performance art. So it sounds very left field, but I think there's a lot more expansion. They're saying you are really good at people, associating yourself with other people, and meeting new people and associating yourself with making connections in that sense. That's really what's going to get you in these weird, I would say, predicaments of, I never thought I'd be here. So keep establishing those relationships and keep, thinking outside the box. And right now focus on making some sort of literary connections. Christopher?
Just to verify, was she February 20th or February 10th?
20th.
Okay, perfect. I have it right. So the core issue here actually is there is karma of having once been very successful in a past life and having lost it. And so ultimately what's holding you up is the fact that you are still processing the emotional wounds or the trauma. So you basically are actually afraid of success because in your past life, you fell right when you were successful. So you're actually subconsciously sabotaging your success right now because you're afraid of losing it once you get it. So what has to happen is just to connect to your heart, to connect to your feelings, to neutralize yourself. As far as what Scott was saying is, yes, I do think that things are going to move forward. It's all about how you feel about yourself. That's what's tied to your potential. And I do see opportunity. What Scott was saying was accurate from the astrology perspective is you are being sort of reshuffled on your career path right now. And what's happening is going to be sort of fated. What unfolds is sort of fated. But if you want to make it happen faster, you want to focus on your feelings and how neutral you feel about success. Neutralize your emotions around potential success.
I agree. That vibe too. I think that's why she's good at making connections. I feel like and talking to people like just casually. So I think if she focused on that, realizing how successful she is in that regard, that can relate to her career in art, performances, whatever you want to call that, expansions. So hope that helps you. And right now we're going to add Larissa to the mix here. She's not intended to be full screen. Sorry.
It is now the Marissa show. Hi, Marissa.
Oh, yeah.
Great to watch.
Christopher, where did you go?
Wonka. Oh, now I'm gone. Fine. I see.
Let's add to the left. I knew something was bound to happen here. Come on, get on screen, Christopher. They just completely eradicated. There we go. Hey, we put you in the middle. How good is that? Now you're in the middle.
Awesome. Marissa in the middle. Is that your name, Marissa?
Larissa.
Sorry.
Larissa.
Okay.
Yes, the font is this big on my screen. I'm trying to macramize, so I apologize if I misspoke on that.
Larissa Clinton, but no C.
I'm sorry?
And what's your date of birth?
Yeah.
4384.
Do you know the time and city?
City's Peoria, Illinois. And I think the time was around 10:30 in the morning.
A.M. Okay, I will pull you up and pass on.
And what's your question? And I will start with the psychic and go to the astrology. So what would be the question you have here?
Kind of general, just like I've had a lot of chaos going on over the last 8 months. I'm looking for some peace, so I'm curious about what the next 6 to 9 months holds.
Let me see what's going there. Yeah, it feels heavy.
It's a lot.
Wow. It's like I feel like there's like 2 or 3 people that you've been having issues with. Something, I don't know if there's something feels like, I don't know if there was a separation with the relationship too that happened this year. And there's also, someone has an illness. I don't know if it's a parent. I feel like a parent getting an illness too at some point, maybe this year too. It feels heavy in that sense. So if that's unbeknownst to you, that might become revealed to you too. It doesn't feel terminal. It just feels like, oh God, here's another, downfall here. But it won't be, because I feel like it feels like a mother energy to me, that might go through some sort of health issue in that sense. But I have to say, with the mom energy, she might be a little bit of a hypochondriac, so it might not be as worse as it is. So that might be something like, okay, mom's being more emotional. But I think this feels very karmic to me. I think that right now you have to understand how to juggle circumstances to where you're not allowing yourself to bleed into the circumstances. This separation I was feeling too feels very necessary. And I think that, they keep saying you get into situations where you're extremely deprived. Like you get deprived of your attention, of your time, and this deprivation is like trying to say, I deserve more. Like, what the fuck? Why am I just keep getting pulled and pulled and pulled? It doesn't stop. And we're saying it will stop when you understand that it needs to be over, when you understand the value that you have and what you deserve, and stop feeding it. And I think you feed it because of empathy and sympathy. If someone treats you poorly, slaps you in the face, like, oh, but they were hurt as a child, that's why they slapped me. It's like, no, that doesn't excuse the behavior. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if you've been doing a lot more reading lately, if you've been diving into more self-help. They're saying stop it. Actually, you need one-on-one person. You need one-on-one interactions. If it's through a therapist, if it is through Christopher's school, I'm plugging his school, as I'm not trying to, but I think you need human connection, and you need to get out of yourself. And I think you need to connect with people who are very much showing to you that they do nurture you, they do have time for you, and they do want to hear you, and they care about your voice. And I think that's the emphasis here, and the karmic lesson that needs to be, I would say, expanded. And I think you'll do that this year. But I feel like the mother energy, there will be some sort of that health issue, whatever I'm feeling, that she might be a little bit of a hypochondriac over. I feel like she will definitely find a closeness to you. There'll be some sort of resolve with her, or in a sense that will mend something, you know what I'm saying, in a little way. So I see your face like, is that possible? But there will be something that does that. And I think that's sometimes an illness makes someone wake up and realize, I've been too heavy on my daughter. I haven't been there. Maybe I've been too much of a bitch. Maybe I got to do something. And so I feel like there's going to be a magnetism between the two of you guys this year too. And I feel like by fall, winter time, I hear you exhaling a lot and going, gosh. So I do feel by the holiday time that you will have a reprieve emotionally because you did it. But the only thing that I want to say before I jump to Chris, I don't mean to be long-winded, but I feel like you need this, is that I feel like you need to feel the empty space. There may be a period you'll feel the empty space around you, but you need it. Because how else can you reconfigure, redesign, and restructure your life if you don't have that empty space to hear yourself? And so please don't be afraid of that, and please don't turn against that. Embrace that. Because what you had filling your spaces and the echoes of the past are very heavy and depriving. But I feel like this is a really good transformation to you. Like I said before, it feels karmic to me. And I think you're doing a good job. But stop reading the books. Familiarize with people, a community of people that are like-minded. And that's going to be your gateway to an acceleration of your healing. Christopher?
So, your core issue is you have horrible boundaries. You come from a lifetime where you're completely dominated and didn't have any freedom. So you actually haven't had enough freedom on the planet. You're like a professional wife. You've been married and you've spent all of your lifetimes like being in relationships where the person was in charge. And so in this lifetime, you actually are not very good at protecting your heart. You don't think for your heart and where the boundaries are and what will hurt your heart. And so if you do have a parent overstepping, that's just sort of to illuminate how you don't actually protect your heart in relationships. In other words, look out for what would make your heart happy or not happy. And that's sort of what that's where the bleeding is, if there's bleeding going on. And I have a mantra for you. It's to love yourself and love yourself some more. You have Jupiter at 11 degrees Capricorn. So you're so behind on self-love. You need 2 doses every time you do something. So you need mani and pedi and a massage.
That's
you need
right.
croissants and dessert. It has to be two doses because you're so behind on self-love. Like,
Housewives and the Golden Girls. Come on.
Totally. So if you just always love yourself twice at any moment and then make sure no one can take that away from you, your life's going to turn around overnight. You also have a karmic issue about believing in yourself, and right now Saturn is on that spot right now. And your guides want you to know that believing in yourself is about if your heart feels it's true, it is. And so your mind doesn't have to have the answer. If your heart feels it's okay, just let it go and call that good enough, and see if you're proven wrong. But what do you do? Are you in a career change right now?
I just got laid off in August and started a new job at the end of August.
Okay, great. Yeah. So this is. Go ahead.
It was in the same field.
Yeah, I think this is a karma. So you're going to overcome a karmic issue you have with having made a mistake in society. And I want to tell you right now, it's okay to make a mistake at this new job because this mistake, whatever it might be, is holding you back from really claiming your place in the world. You'll be okay. The mistake is a repeat of a past life issue where you didn't respond to your feelings, you responded to the other person's feelings. You're sort of like kind of like a Stepford wife. Like you've been so programmed to like be there for other people and not consider yourself is the karma. So you're just once you consider yourself, it's going to be gravy. But you will have a lot of fortune come in society. I think that this company is going to give you a promotion or something right away. There's opportunity.
I can concur. Yeah, I concur with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can feel that.
And of course, the karma is to keep believing in yourself because you might feel you're not capable of it, but you are.
Thank you both. I'm gonna cry.
Yay!
Much love. It's great to meet you, my love.
Just kidding. Yeah. It was nice meeting you. Thanks for coming on, Larissa.
Good night, love.
Much.
Very sweet.
Totally sweet. Sweet.
All right,
sweet
we have. Yeah, some of those I just like. I'm like pushed to like go. My mind's like time. So some that I felt pushed with her, right, to go a little longer. But next one is for. Yeah, the next one is for Get Real Bistro.
Nice. I want to eat there.
Get real, bitch. Is it coming from that sentiment? Get real, bitch. Let me switch us here because I think we're on.
I'm the host now.
I
So
know,
coming
screw
up
that.
next, we're gonna. Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. You had a Pisces logo the first time I was on your show. At least the Aquarius logo lingering would have been nice. Remember the Pisces logo that was stuck on the screen when it came on?
Oh,
the first
yeah,
time?
that's right. Yeah, that was our mess up. Yep.
I know.
Shout
I'm like,
out to our director.
Shout out to. Okay,
Yeah,
she says her birthday is February 4th, 1965, 12:05 a.m. Gravelbourg, Sask, Canada. But she didn't leave a question.
Spell it. G-R.
Gravelbourg, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Gravelbourg. Sask, Canada.
I think they're drinking when they're making their city names. I'll just tell you right now.
I mean, seriously. She didn't leave a question here. So, Get Real Bistro, if you're in the chat, can you please quickly put your question in the chat because we just got the information, but there was no question associated with that. I can go general because for time's sake, I can maybe just go general, see what's going on. But if you can leave your question in the chat, and maybe you want to start first on Christopher, start first on this one if you can, just for general sake, if you can, maybe just do a general read, being there was no question there.
Sure. Let me just pull up. I'll be 1 second. February 4th, 65, 12:05 a.m. Okay, we just want to make sure we're right. Otherwise, I'll be like advising you to break up with someone. Okay, 15-degree Aquarius. So actually what's happening right now is actually pretty profound. Get Real Bistro actually has a core wound where she did once followed their heart and personal dreams and it all came crashing down. And so the universe is actually calling for you to get back in touch with your heart right now and open up your heart. So you're being called to open your heart and to express your heart. Now, the problem with opening your heart is you have really poor boundaries when it comes to where you are in the world. So you really have to be mindful of protecting your heart first. Protecting your heart means that if you're gonna share something that was your dream, make sure you share with people that you care about. That you don't set your hopes too high. Be realistic. Like put in some appropriate boundaries as to possibilities, timelines, and whatnot. But you're about to fall in love with an idea or vision or a dream, and that's going to happen. Likely in the next 4 or 5 months, basically. The other thing that has to happen too is your emotions right now are going through a purification. So Saturn's about to cross your moon, which means that you are about to emotionally grow up. You're maybe holding on to the bitter past, like the one that got away, or you're holding on to the project that failed, or there's some emotional karma that needs to be released. And then you're going to see clearly your possibilities. But you're also going through what we call a Jupiter return, which means that right now you're extremely fortunate. If you're not in a partnership, you are very, very magnetic to a draw on that partnership now. And if you are in a partnership, it might be a partnership for business or a creative endeavor that comes in. But it could also be the last thing is like someone you know might bring some really good news or fortune to you. So you're really on the verge of a big rainbow coming out. I would say in personal dreams. Scott?
We just had a little lag there. Base not having a question. I kind of feel the same thing, kind of. So I'll just leave it there. I will pull some cards because there was no question in there. But I'll pull some cards in that because I don't really know direction to go. I mean, you pretty much summarized her overall state, but we'll pull some cards, kind of see if a direction where I want to read. Because that would be more of a template for me.
Yeah, that's great. I think, well, considering there's no question, then yeah. I need something to key off of, like a birthday or a sign or just something that allows me to look up the person.
Yeah, I mean, I like to tap in generally, but there's so much. It's like walking to a hoarder's home. It's like, let's pick a room to start with first. There's so much to sort through, and so, so let's see where they want to go with her first. I'm going to go emotional on this one, too, because I keep hearing, like, same thing we were saying about the last querent. For me, it feels very about setting boundaries. There's going to be a massive change this year. I don't know if you said that, too. I would say minor change. There's a lot of emotional tension going on right now. So, for me, this is more an emotional read. I don't feel like you're being as assertive as you need to be right now. And so, I think it's time to, like, grab the bull by the horns right now, start speaking your mind. I think there is some sort of something that's pushing you. Like, it feels like a relationship or even a circumstance, and that could be a relationship, too, in a sense, that's really kind of flipping things upside down. The Tower card in the reverse came, so it's like not so much of a devastation, but still enough to kind of give you a kick in the ass. But you're still being finicky about it. You're still like, yeah, but I know what to do, but I'm not doing it. So it really is time to start moving forward in the direction you need to be going, and start saying the things that you should be doing and start doing it. Very simple. It's very emotional, but it's saying the only reason why you feel in contempt in that way is because you're suppressing those I know what to do's. And so I agree when I heard about the boundary setting in Christopher's read, if that was there. I don't know if I heard it from somewhere else, but I agree about setting the boundaries. You feel over encumbered right now with too much responsibility. I feel like even if it's like, kids that are not yours that you're being responsible for and responsible for children that are not your children, there's a lot of that going around you that I feel like you're being responsible for. So you want to make sure you're not allowing yourself to hook on to all these different occurrences and hook on to all these different boxes of issues. And then looking at the situation saying, I know what I need to do and actually do it, because I think you're on the cusp of doing that. Otherwise, if you're so far beyond doing that, then me saying do what you know you need to do wouldn't be so much of a push for you because you're so far beyond doing that. But I think you're on the cusp of actually pushing yourself to do what you need to do. And I think that's going to be this year where you're like, aha, I got it. And I don't know why I see you writing a book. That was random. So I see it put into a book, like writing about this and it being like a really random inspired idea. And so I don't know why I also hear you singing. So maybe you do need to start singing more. Maybe you once were a singer at some point, or you enjoy singing. Bring that element back in. Bring those past talents back in. Not so much as a career again, just to bring that dynamic to your life, to bring overall well-being and good energy and good clarity by resurrecting parts of the soul that have been suppressed. Okay? Hope that helps.
I'll say the chart does affirm the book, Scott, and also it affirms that this is an emotional moment with Saturn on her moon.
Does it? Okay.
So, yeah, there is an emotional purge that needs to happen to see clearly, but definitely the book.
Perfect. Awesome. So that's is that you, Laura? Jackies Gleamer, is that you? She said that's me, so maybe that's who the bistro person is. We're gonna let's go to another 15 minutes, and whatever we don't get in by 7:45, I'll refund. How about that? And I'm making sure no one, if Nita's making sure no one else books anymore. The next is for Sherry Rosario. There's two questions, but she is born 2/21/65, 1:09 a.m. and I don't have a location.
Okay, so if you can't put in the chat, please try to. Otherwise, I'm going to make your location Brazil. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, she says in California, so I don't know if that means that she's in California now, but she says in California. And why is my trackpad going to my iPad now?
We need a birth location.
Yeah, so Sherry Rosario, please in your chat if you give a birth location. And that would be great.
Okay, we'll see. But you can get started first if you like, brother.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Thanks for directing me on my show. Thank you.
Well, no, sorry about that.
No, I need it. No, I'm saying I
Listeners-
need it. I need it because I'm spaced out for a moment reading all these things. So please interfere and please help me get on track. Yeah, 2 questions she says, and planning on traveling to visit family in California from the 5th to the 9th, 3 cities. I don't know if that's a question. Empty nest retard, how would I deal with the Pluto retrograde in my chart? Okay, that's a good one for you, Christopher, actually. Okay, in California, planning to move with his family, I think that's okay. If you're asking about the travel's okay in that regard. I don't sense any issues with travel. Maybe slight delays is what I'm sensing with that. If you're asking about in California, planning traveling to visit my family from the 5th to 9th, but maybe slight delays, not so much with you, but maybe with other people. But it feels okay. I mean, there might be some banter that might occur during this trip, but nothing I would say astronomical in a sense. So the trip seems okay. You'll manage is what they're saying. Not massively amazing, but not horrible. Like, I did it, saw my family, it was fine. There's a little banter, but I'm good. I checked that box. The second question is empty nest. Do you want to do one question by one, or you want to do them both separately? How do you want to do that? Because he has 2 questions. Do you want me to answer them both first, or do one pass to you and then do second pass to you? How would you want to do that?
Go ahead and do both, and then I'll.
Okay.
You'll have to remind me, but
I'll feed it to you again. Yeah. Empty nest retard. How do I deal with the Pluto retrograde in my chart? My spidey senses is that I mean, spirits give me phrases. I'm going to say I never heard this before. I'm going to try to make sense of this. I just heard him say giving is not a virtue. So I don't know what that means, but I think what they're trying to say is maybe you're trying to be too helpful for the sake of thinking it's what you need to be doing to be a good person. And therefore, it's not being virtuous in a sense if it's depleting you. And running around for other people, like just to give, just to be a good person is not the position you should be taking to be a giver. So I think that's why they're saying giving is not a virtue in your sense, is that you're doing it from the wrong place. You're doing it because you feel like you have to. And so you might want to reconfigure that during this time and understand that you might find people being more, I would say, heavy about what they request from you. And if you're giving to someone or helping someone, they might require more from you, start pulling more from you during this time if you don't understand how to back up from that. And giving just to give is not something that's going to benefit you or benefit the other person. It's just to put strain on both parties. So they're saying, understand that it's not a virtue if you're doing it because you feel like you have to. Understand giving in virtue means you're doing it from a situation where the universe has aligned that, when spirit has aligned it to be, I would say, ordained in that sense. So they're saying stop trying to accentuate and overdo that in that sense, to allow things to be more in a neutral stance. Because I feel like if you take that perspective prior to retrograde, then I think that you'll realize people will start backing up from you. Like, this one I haven't heard from in a while. How come? Like, they were calling me all the time with the problems, but they kind of just fell off the face of the earth. You'll realize they'll start naturally taking a step back if you get this intellect in order before the retrograde for you. That's what I read. Chris? First question is about taking the trip on the 5th and to the 9th. 3 cities in California. What's your vibe on that trip for her?
I think what's happening in the big picture of things is that the karma is really not being there for your heart. And right now what you're doing is you're clearing emotional karma. So I don't know if you're going to see families in that trip, but basically you're getting back and connected to your heart. So this is a time to follow what your heart wants, like treat yourself to good things. This period of this trip is to the house of love and inner child. So this is time to play. Let your inner child play. And ironically, this actually plays into the Pluto retrograde question, because your Pluto retrograde is due to, you have 2 different lessons that you have when it comes to Pluto. One is that you don't follow your heart. So you ignore your heart. You're too cerebral. You're also very, very emotional and sensitive. And so I think you have to clear your feelings and be responsible, for clearing where you're not neutral. So you have to really be mindful of your heart and get in touch with your heart, phase 1. And then once Pluto stations direct, you're actually here to make an impact on the planet. You're sort of a homebody, but you have a legacy that you are setting up the foundation for. So you're here to leave your name behind on the planet. You haven't done that before. And actually your feelings, you're very sensitive, but actually you're not in touch with your feelings. That's the paradox there, because your moon's in the 12th house. So really building that emotional foundation. If you want to look at this in a bigger perspective, you're now healing emotional childhood wounds is what's happening now. And once your feelings clear, then you can be mindful of your heart. Once you're mindful of your heart, you know what you're here to do. But the trip will be fun. It couldn't be a better time for a trip.
Do you also think too that could be, she's not really in touch with herself, which is why she might be overly giving and overcompensating with giving so much to other people that I was picking up before? Could that be the reason?
Totally. Actually, when you said that, I read that's her Pluto. Actually,
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
basically, she's skipping self-love and giving love to others in hopes of receiving it.
Right.
It's like a codependent thing. Like if I love you, you love me back. But here's the thing: you're not attracting people that love you back.
Right.
So it's just going out the door.
Right.
And that's a boundary issue. See, if you were mindful of your heart, you'd be aware this is a one-sided game.
Right.
So
that's great.
Yeah.
It's a great read. All right, next we have Victoria. We have about like 4 or 5 more, and again, we're going to go to maybe 7:45, unless we have that one last one. And then there was a few that didn't leave their questions, so I'll just refund them without waiting. This is Victoria Kristenko. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She says, "Hello, Scott and Sensei. I'm wondering if I would be able to get a job that I recently applied for and go up on the career ladder. Her date of birth is October 28th, 1989." At 3:20 p.m., Budapest, Hungary.
Wow.
She currently resides in New York. Thank you. Nickname is Chikadu. Okay. Okay, great. We got Michelle Bell. Thank you, Nina, for getting Michelle's. Okay, I'll chime in here. What if I'll be able to get the job that I recently applied for and go up to blah, blah, blah. I don't understand what carrier ladder means, but I feel energetically this is a good time for a career change. Promotion, leveling up. So to me, the probability on this current position feels like 70-40 for me. So 70 in your favor, of course, only because I don't think they've made the decision right now as it stands. So and the situations like this are not primarily written in the stars, but I feel like the opportunity either through this or another one will manifest, because I feel like now is the time to make a career change. Now is a time for leveling up or promotion, or like as you stated, going up the carrier ladder. So it is that time for that. So I think it's 70% probable that this opportunity will manifest. 30% it won't, but I feel like there's another one behind it that will come to replace this opportunity, provided that doesn't manifest because of any conditional circumstances, like other people that they're up against and so forth. So yes, I think it's a great time for that. I think that, looking further ahead on that, I think that even by January of 2025, there's also another massive shift. I think you're going to be climbing rather quickly, to be honest with you. So January 2025 is like, wow, there's another like leveling up, or you've solidified another positioning too. So I think there's this one this year that in this time spectrum, this couple month spectrum I'm feeling. I actually feel like, funny enough, and maybe Christopher can prove me right or wrong on this, I feel like the April retrograde energy actually would serve you, would benefit you. I think it would propel you forward. And so yeah, I think this would be a great time to level up, to get that promotion. If not, another opportunity will manifest in that and generates another boom of solidifying another great positioning for you. Christopher?
So I agree with the odds of this particular one. I actually honestly feel psychically, this is a psychic, that that this job is sort of preparing you for the job. Sometimes we have to give the courage sometimes God gives us something that we want, and that's when we realize we want it. And that was the first thing, was to make you realize you want it. And then the next thing is that you actually get what you want. But whatever job you get right now, it's destined, because Saturn's in your 12th house. So you have some karma to face, and that's going to unplay in your next work environment. But with Jupiter in your second house, don't worry, money is on your side. Whatever you end up doing, it's going to be something that has greater money and greater value. But there's going to be karma there. And the karma there that's coming up really has to do with your heart opening up and you being emotionally good to yourself. So that may mean that it may challenge you a little bit to be better be careful what you ask for, because there's karma with this job that's coming. There is a job coming, no question. I feel that very strongly. I just can't feel if this particular one you're asking about was a setup for the one, or it is the one. But either way, and I agree, Mercury retrograde, I would imagine you get interviewed in Mercury retrograde, is what I felt, Scott.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I feel it too.
That's what it
And
feels like.
I said 70-40 because in my mind there was a scale going 60-40, 70-30. So my mind kind of just split it out. So I do know my math. I do. that was funny. I had to highlight that.
Later. Yeah. No, I agree with that. It's a little murky. I think because there's karma involved, and I actually can
Yeah.
feel that still. I agree with Scott. They haven't made a decision.
Yeah.
Everyone's dealing with karma right now, guys. Like even I have been trying to hire an assistant. I've been so busy with this karma and stuff. Like everything's a little slow right now because people are being held up privately.
Yeah. Yeah, my communication's been odd. Like I've been kind of flopping on my words. I've been, like I said before, so like unsure of myself, but like not in a way that I feel bad about it. I'm like, I don't care. It just feels different, you know, and just rolling with it in a sense, you know. Elisa Ferris. I'm sorry, what's that?
That's your karma coming up for clearing, I think.
Yeah, I think you and I talked about that personally too, like not wanting to make a mistake and not wanting to disappoint people, and you know, so yeah, I'm definitely riding with that. You called it out on the phone the other day, like it was so specific on that, which I really appreciated. Elisa Ferris, do you mind going till 8? Because we have like 4 more left. And I think we could tackle it. Is that cool with you? Okay, I don't want to be over encumbering on it. Okay, this is Elisa Ferris. It's February 25th, 1972. February 25th, 1972, 7:45 p.m. Birthplace is Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Okay, I'll run that chart. Lisa, you said.
Elisa, yeah.
Lisa, Roger.
Yeah, I'm a shamanic healer, and I'm also a composer, video and artist, and music editor. Just wondering about my direction, where I headed with all of this. Let me see. I'm trying to take out the visuals of what you say you do, so I don't confuse that for a prediction. Why aren't you unifying it? They're saying. They're saying now it's time for unification. You know, I think you're putting it all together in the context of the question, but I'm reading that you somehow still separate them all. You know, and I think that if you look at a way to combine it, and I just keep hearing performance art, another performance art energy I'm getting, and working with live performances, and I don't know why, and it was very cliche to me, but using even people that know how to utilize those cloths in these kind of like energetic dances, and understanding how to utilize the music with that and video, and so they're kind of saying that like getting a group of people, even students in a sense, that can actually do these performances. So I don't know. I feel like a class of people doing that in a sense. So unless it's just a group of people. So I think you'll be connected with a community of people that you'll actually either to direct or dictate to create this kind of performance art in gear. Because they're saying unify. And so I think you're on the right track with that. But they're saying stop separating it all, and understand how to combine it too. And the teaching aspect came into... Okay, what did she say here? Music teacher, voice coach. Okay, there's a teacher in you and a performance artist too. Okay. Well then, my love, can you find a way to get a group of people to do it for you? Like where you create your own show, your own project, and teach people how to utilize this kind of performance art to create one performance, one production. Because I see multiple people, not just you, and you kind of directing it. So yeah, I definitely see that, and they say unify. Christopher, what's in the stars for that?
Well, for one, the reason why things have been held up is because you had to kind of face your karma with yourself, which is now complete. So clap, this big round of applause. And one of the issues is listening to your feelings. So I think you're on top of that. It is all about performance right now. Agree. It's about rethinking through your performance. I don't know if you're really aligned with. So your mind is a very curious mind. That's why you have 25 titles, because your mind explores all this stuff. But I don't know if you're measuring stuff according to what your heart really feels drawn to the most. So you're going to be figuring out what your heart wants the most, and that may be some sort of a weird combination that we've never seen before. As Scott is suggesting, you might be looking to what you see and know rather than what you wish it could be. So my keyword to you is, what do you wish it could be? What do you wish you could be doing? And as weird as it may seem, or as strange of a concoction as it might be, definitely go for it. there is a teacher in you, as Scott said, and that teacher awakens somewhere around May 28th, May 29th of this year. And there is also a nun in you. You were a nun in a past life
Oh,
and
well.
a spiritual authority. And so I think maybe the nun is holding you back. Like maybe you're a little bit more daring and want to take some more risk in your work than you have been because you've allowed that past life memory to be sort of dominating. But you're going to be, really this is a career boom for you. By the end of this year, you're in a career boom. It's all going to come together.
I love it.
Yeah.
And see,
Good
coming
time.
together, unifying, that energy, unifying, coming together. That's the essence they want you to soak in. All right. Okay. Next we have is, thank you, Nina, for getting the information. Michelle Bell, June 13th, 1972, Ajax, ON Canada, 6:01 p.m. I don't know what on Canada means, but
Ontario.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Dear.
Yeah. You've been an
Dear
astrologer
stuff.
long enough. You learn all these weird abbreviations.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. And the question is, Sydney and Nike, or Nikki, I would say Nikki, think I should ask about Summer of Love, but I'm going to go with career. Am I fated to collab with others? When, who, and currently solo? The question was another kind of loaded question. The direction of the question, my love, was a little... But let me read it and see where we're going to go with this. When you say fated, I think the words are funny. I love you for that. But I don't know if you're... It's interesting. I'm getting more like you need to develop an independent-minded perspective on career first. They're saying you kind of relax too much in other people's perspectives. They're saying, I think now is the time to step outside of other people's influences, and now is the time to really move forward into this is what I'm going to do. I'm not taking your opinions, and actually countering people's opinions, saying, I don't actually agree with that. I'm not taking that opinion. So I'm reading between the lines, even on the question, but also energetically. I think this year is a time you actually will branch off to be more independent, and then I see you connecting with others, with career, and just generally speaking, connecting with others in a sense that can be beneficial for hobbies, career, life decisions, yada, yada, yada. And so I think once you establish the independent route and not relying on other people's opinions and inspiration or influences in a sense, then that's going to be a thrust forward into the right people that can actually benefit you with career. I will look at Summer of Love really quickly for you. I think again, there's going to be a lot more the career for you this summer. Again, recognition, using your voice. I think a lot of that's going to come to fruition for the summer. So is it more so love and relationships? Possibly. But I feel like it's more about the independence and learning what that means. So when it comes to love and relationships, it might be more casual, but I think eventually this is all going to be a stirring pot for you to understand, hey, I want long-term. Hey, I'm getting long-term. Hey, I'm actually being established with my career because my independent foundation, and now I have the right people around me. So it really is kind of being the dictator this year and having that independent voice, as cliche as it sounds, but that's the best I can get from the question. But you're on the right track with that. Chris, what do you think?
Was it 6:01 p.m. or a.m.? That's my one question.
PM.
Okay, good. That's what I got. So I think, interestingly enough, when it comes to love, that's actually a sore subject for Michelle. And she's just now in a place where she's really, I think, ready to open up and accept and receive love. So this is going to be a love prep summer. So prepping for love. So I agree with Scott. It's not going to happen immediately. And here's the thing. The issues that hold you back from love are the same issues that hold you back from collaborating with others. It has to do with relationships, right? So ultimately, you're developing a better relationship with your own heart, first and foremost, learning to emotionally ground and nurture yourself. And being a 22-degree Gemini, that's emotion plus emotion. So you're learning how to you're developing a relationship that opens up to your feelings a bit more. You super intellectualized, as I see from all your jokes in the chat. It's one joke after another. Sometimes, in the sun of the 8th house, now I know why. Just kidding. You also have a past life of being a spiritual authority as well. It doesn't feel like a nun, though. It actually feels like a male. So I think it was a priest. It wasn't. So actually, because you're born the exact same year as our last question. But I agree. This is a preparation. There's a lot of preparation going on. But once Jupiter hits Gemini, and you start processing your feelings a bit more, like whatever it is that you're not allowing yourself to feel, I think you're going to change your mind about a lot of things. To be honest, that's what I feel. You have a lot of shifting going on in what you think. Once Jupiter's Gemini, you're going to grow really fast out of your old position, and you kind of hide and nest a little bit. So you've got to get more emotionally comfortable to come out of whatever closet you're in.
I like that. Yeah, I will also concur. I can't argue with the stars, right? That's what the stars say. Can't debate that. So we have about 5 left. So I think we can bang this out, and they're just simple questions here. And so we got Stephanie Panahar, and her 9:30, 80. All we have is she's born in the evening in Ecuador. That's all we have for the time.
Okay. We'll just look at
Will that help?
Yeah, I mean, if we don't have the time, that's the same thing. We'll do it in Ecuador.
Yeah, I just don't want to go too long.
Sure. What's the question?
I said just messages about my love life is for one, and then when will international work travel start? Okay, let's see. A simple message, Stephanie, we're going to give to you on this is clearance, they're saying. There has to be a clearance of energy, almost like you're saging the year for yourself. I think there needs to be a lot of clearance. And we're going to go emotional, an emotional question. And it's a vague question, but we're going to give you what you need to know about the vague question. And that really means that you have to start doing more clearance energetically, past clearing of past relationships, karmic relationships. And really this time, you are on the bridging period for me of going from the old paradigm to a newer paradigm when it comes to relationships. But you're kind of stuck on the bridge a little bit. And so doing that clearance will help you kind of go through the bridge and carry on the bridge and complete your process of going to your newer paradigm. So again, I think that really is no time frame on that. It can happen now or it can happen in another year or so. It really is in your hands on this when it comes to that. So I think you're destined to find a partnership, but defining what that partnership really means. Right now, that renders about a 2-year time frame about the true partnership that you're defining that I feel like that you're not aware of. The partnership of connectivity and compatibility that you're not yet aware of. That prediction can actually change. It's just running between like a year or 2 years in that sense, because it's just giving you enough time to make the realizations that you need. Once you allow yourself to cross that bridge in a timely manner and clearing out the past that you need, then the newer paradigm will come in a lot quicker than a year or 2 years. That's just kind of the general prediction we're sensing on this. And so I definitely feel like there'll be a lot more travel this year, more work focus this year too. And that going into the second question, which is when will international work travel start? I'm getting like June, so basically around summertime, actually, around the traveling of that, and either they start the international traveling by the summertime, or they create the dates in the summertime. I feel like the knowing of such will happen this summertime, and that's what I feel. And then I get highlighting of November somehow, so maybe there's an also emphasis in November. I don't know why. Christopher, what do you think? Do you need the questions again, or did you?
Yeah, I think you just repeat them so I have them.
Yeah, the first one was about just messages about her love life. And so I guess we'll stick to this year and anything else that you might see relatively soon.
So yeah, with love life, she's still operating from the old ego. So basically there's some core issues around boundaries and boundaries around her feelings and her heart. So I concur. This is honestly, relationships open up probably like around February or March of next year. There's just work on self is what's happening right now, and coming out of an old ego. The ego, of course, is what gives us sexual attraction, but also blocks us. And so I think what you're learning how to do is protect your emotional needs. You have issues with your feelings and boundaries with your feelings, like protecting them, knowing what they need, knowing how to keep them from being hurt, that sort of thing. You are in a major healing time now because Jupiter's on your Chiron here around May 1st. Jupiter crossed your Chiron, so you will have the karma of possibly almost making the wrong mistake and then stopping at the last moment. Just want to put that out there. So really listen to your heart and your intuition. I completely agree with Scott. I think that the dates will come in the summer, but I don't see it happening this summer. I see you finding out about it, and I do think it happens in the fall. And I actually feel there'll be a delay on it too. So So like they're like, yes, we want you to do it now, and then I'm like, no, we actually we need to change it. So what happens in the summer is that Jupiter goes into Gemini, which is her house of travel, Scott. So Jupiter hits her house of travel in this summer. But in November, I actually think November has to actually do with her male energy. Like it's going to be sort of kind of revamped. Believe it or not, the issue you have is your male energy is a lot stronger than your female. So you're a grandmaster woman, but the male in you is pissed about certain things. So you got to kind of let go of that. I think it's it's probably scaring away the person you want a little bit.
Makes sense.
Being more vulnerable. So if you take care of your own feelings, then you'll be vulnerable in a position to where you can be taken care of. Right now, I think you're drawing in people who want to be taken care of by you. Is what's happening.
Yeah, or just want to feed from her, right? And just take advantage of her energy, right? And just kind of like, oh, she's there when I need her, type of thing. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like complete selfish intended and, 100%. We got Mrs. Sydney Aaron, which has been also patiently waiting, right? 8/14/76, 6:49 p.m. Metarari, Louisiana. If you need me to spell it, I can. I've never.
Yeah, always spell it. I'm a horrible speller.
Metarie, Louisiana.
Yeah. Louisiana. Alrighty. Let's look this up here.
Okay, and Sydney, let's see if I have your question here. It took me a while to get warmed up to get used to going back and forth, but I think I finally got it, Christopher. I finally got it. She would love a general read. Thank you. Love you both dearly. We love you too. So I'll just for general read pull a card pull on this. Why is a dog coming up? There's dog energy around you, Sydney. So either need to get a dog or something, or maybe you're thinking about getting a dog, or maybe you've been mourning a lost dog, or I just feel this lost dog, new dog energy. So maybe you think about getting a dog and getting a pet. I feel like it might be something of a great companion right now, or an animal. I don't know why it's coming around. I think it also is going to help you to understand more of. I don't want to say sympathy, but dogs bring a different, I would say, essence to understand what unconditional love is in that sense, and getting the sense of having that around you constantly to get you out of your head. I think will be a very wise decision. They're really urging you to consider getting a pet or another pet or a new pet or focusing on a pet, or just connecting with animals. I'll just keep it even pull back and be more general in that sense, because it's saying you have a very clear environment around you, but it still feels not so solid with support. And I think that having any type of animal or any type of a sentient being in that way to feel this energetic support around you is really kind of necessary right now. The reason why I'm saying this is because I don't know why I'm saying this. Spirit's kind of just leading me one by one. I don't know where it's going, but they're saying to me because I feel like you're going to have a breakthrough moment mid-May. And I think that's where you're going to need that kind of consistent support. And so this way, when you have this little animal to snug up against, then you understand there's a consistent love that's bringing you through this breakthrough moment. It is emotional. It does feel like karmic clearing to me. And so I think that's a really positive change. And I think for me, like I'm getting chills thinking about this because I love these types of changes, because once you have this breakthrough, it's kind of like the whole roadmap to your future with career is going to be so illuminated for you. You're just going to be like, I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. So it's a wonderful time. So find a sentient being of your choice that's going to be with you during this time, because that breakthrough, and you'll know it, my love. Like you won't be dragging yourself through it. You'll know it. You'll actually be welcoming this breakdown period. Like it feels good, and you'll know it's the push that you've needed. All right, Christopher, what do you think?
Well said. That, as she well knows, the solar eclipse is exactly on her moon next month, and that is in their house of mind. But I do agree with Scott. Like the mid-May thing is actually in the fourth house. So in essence, there was a past life where her mind was wrong about something. She didn't listen to her heart. And here's the irony.
the problem your mind made was that it didn't listen to your heart and didn't listen to your feelings. So you failed to listen to your feelings. But because your mind made a mistake, your mind is on overdrive thinking it has to be the one that's correct. But actually, it's not your thinking that's out of line. It's that you're not thinking for your feelings and not thinking for your heart. So this is a two punch. I'm going to add on to Scott. I think the first punch is the solar eclipse on the moon, which makes your emotions impossible to ignore. I think you limp along till mid-May, and then you have that breakdown. Maybe it'll be at Unite the Light, and we'll see you there.
Oh, that's right. I've forgotten.
Right around Unite the Light.
Right. Or slightly before you come, and actually we'll be able to actually heal you at the Unite the Light conference because of that breakdown prior. So, yeah, that's interesting. I forgot about the timing on that.
Actually, on the other side of that emotional flush is what she's meant to do, like her purpose statement. Her Jupiter return is happening, basically.
Right. Right. And those watching, the readings have been closed. So if we don't get your question, you will be refunded. So we've closed them long ago. There's been a couple that came through. We will refund that. We're going in order and closing as intended. So you will be refunded those who have gotten them in late. Okay. Just FYI. And then Nina can also, if you can also put that in the chat too, Nina, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Next is actually my sister, Lisa Brumel, February 5th, 71. Lisa Cruz, Brooklyn, New York, 10:04 a.m. What should I know right now to focus on to moving out of New York? This is hard because I know the circumstances, so I'm kind of biased to it just a bit, but hopefully I will remove the bias and remove the fact that I know my sister in a sense, even though we live in the different states. See what Spirit needs to say. This is coming from Spirit, not so much from my own perspective, but
from brother. Yeah.
They're saying to the words that they're saying. At least I'm going to be different in how I approach. They're saying you got to reconfigure first. They're saying you're running, not jumping. And when I say jumping, when someone takes a leap forward, they're excited about it. You're running away from something. And so they're saying you have to reconfigure the reasons why and make sure that you're moving to expand your circumstances and to make them more representative of what you're wanting and less about trying to run away. I think that this year primarily you're going to be faced with a tough decision to stay or leave. And I don't want to be so specific on why they're saying this, but you might have to make a decision, this or that, in a sense, because a lot of times Spirit is this or that, but sometimes in the physical form we have to be this. We have to be this or that, not this and that. So in that case, I think you're going to have to narrow down your choices this year to maybe find a more unified perspective and stop encumbering yourself with so many figurative choices. And that's going to be something that's going to be very important this year to allow you then to branch outside of where you're living and change your physical circumstances. So first you're going to be set up with that, I would say, realization of what's the decision going to make? What is the choice? And to reconfigure. And then I feel movement. I feel like you're dragging your feet with the move, so I don't really feel like there'll be a long-term move or a big move. Even though I think being an Aquarius, I think Aquarius is there'll be a lot more moves, by the summertime. But I feel like with you, you're going to have to move your perspective. And an actual location change might happen, maybe 2025. And I'm going to say maybe because I don't think you've confirmed enough to lock it into reality. So make a decision, concur, and I would say reconfigure is the vibe that I get. Knowing the circumstances, I'm letting Spirit give me the generals on that. Christopher, what do you see?
According to your chart, your problem is your brother. No, I'm kidding.
And not listening to him. No, I'm kidding.
No, actually, the issue is that you're talking about leaving New York, but you don't know where you belong. Like, you don't know where the place is. Your heart doesn't know where you belong in the world. And the reason for that, according to your astrology, is once upon a time you followed your heart and your heart got broken. And so you're actually trying to figure this out logically, and you're not really going to the term I wish. So the magic phrase for you is I wish. What do you wish? What do you wish could happen? Because you're a little blocked when it comes to just following your heart blindly. So you will be facing that fear of letting your heart have what it wants in mid-May, by the way. And there is a character growth moment here too, but the truth is you don't know what your heart wants. That's the core issue. Now you're going to actually be very clear on what your heart wants, probably in June. And at the same time, it looks like there's going to be a business change or a new way of making money. So you might also change what you do, like career wise, or how you make money. And that's also part of this algorithm. But you're on path. You will end up where you belong within a year's time. I completely agree, Scott. That's the timing in the astrology, within about a year. But first you have to identify where it is you belong. And you might end up actually switching careers before you go, or switching revenue before you go, because it's all about revenue come around June. So, what I'm saying is if you're having a change of heart about what you're meant to do professionally, that might be part of the missing equation too, that you're not quite happy with what you do professionally. And it's a combo. Where do I belong professionally and where do I belong in the world? And the two obviously would come together. So you have this is a big lifetime for you. You're here to make a difference in the world. And I don't know if you realize that. Does she realize that?
I don't think she, I think not quite yet. Okay. I think that she will. Yep.
She's going to make an impact. But the astrology is showing that that's just now starting to open up as a reality. So,
all right, we have 3 more and we are done. And these are two simple questions here. And so this one is from Carmen Hart. If you're still awake, if you're still there, Carmen Hart. Question 1 is, let me give you the information. Sorry, she put it last. Carmen Schatz, birth date 9/23/96. I don't have a location.
Okay, we'll just run on that day for a solar chart. Sounds good.
Yeah, and just for time's sake. And I've been trying for almost a year to get my life savings back from professional fraudsters with the help of a lawyer. However, the lawyer also seems to have deceived me. Is it worthwhile to carry on fighting for what is mine, or shall I count my losses? I don't get deception from the lawyer. And I don't want this to be... I'm not trying to get to be a hard pill to swallow in a sense, but I want to give you more perspective on this. For me, it feels like there have been decisions that have been made that people have taken advantage of, but because of the decision that maybe you've made that you've overlooked. It feels like a careless energy for me that created this, fraudster and created this lack of trying to get it back in a sense. I don't feel like the lawyer is necessarily trying to deceive you, and I understand you're stuck in that modality. It just feels like I don't think they can do much or try to do much, but they hit a wall is what I feel like in a sense. So it's not that I want to say accept your losses in a sense. I just don't feel like you're able to recover this. It doesn't feel like it's recoverable because of certain legalities that do protect the fraudsters in a sense because of certain choices that were made. So I would urge you to... Just FYI, a lot of us have made many financial decisions that didn't render good results. And so some are investments, some are bad choices. It is taking the lesson from this. That is not a loss. So I don't want you to say, take my losses. There's a lesson from this and being more keen on fighting for yourself and making sure you are covering all aspects of protecting yourself. And just not just literally, but figuratively speaking. And so this is what you want to maybe look at when it comes to that. But it doesn't seem recoverable to me. And I don't feel like you're being deceived by the lawyer. It's just like they're trying to find ways, but they're hitting walls, and that's what it seems like to me. The second question is, how is my small business developing financially? How is it developing financially? I guess a better question is, will it be developing? Because you should know what it's doing now. Let me look at what's going. Let me just kind of tap in and see what's going on with the structure quickly. It's going to go too long. Yeah, I think the end. I'm primarily going to focus year to year, but I think this year, like the fall time for you feels. I think you'll see a nice increase. Fall time. I don't know if you do something with scents. I'm smelling something, or if you bring in candles or something with a scent related thing. I feel like somehow you'll have some sort of product or service that connects for the fall time or connects for a season that will boost something of that nature. So if it's not a tangible thing, or maybe you bring in a tangible thing, or you bring some sort of element that is holiday or festive in that way, I feel like that's where there's going to be a boost in your career in that sense. So I think you'll have boosts at the end of this year. Fall seems to be the time frame for me, and bleeding into February of 2025. Then you might have a little bit dip there, but I would say save your money during this boost. So when the dips in like February, March of next year, you're good. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I do see an influx around that time. Christopher, the first question was about, she's trying to get her life savings back from a professional fraudster with help of a lawyer. She feels that the lawyer has been deceiving her. Is it worthwhile to carry on or to accept the losses? What is your read on that?
So I'll just say this. There was going to be one major hurt in this lifetime where she put her faith in the wrong person, and this might be it. You have karma with trusting and committing to the wrong person. And the karma is you didn't listen to your heart or you didn't listen to your intuition. Like spirit told you and you didn't listen. And ironically, that's actually the same answer for this question is you have to ask first of all, is your heart in it? Because I don't feel like your heart is in it anymore. But you're just feeling, but your ego is pissed that you lost. But I don't think your heart really is in this fight. I think your heart is over it and you just want to move on. But your ego just can't let go of the fact that you lost something. You were born in 96, so your life savings probably isn't that big. This is a Taurus talking. And you have fortune coming, by the way. So I wouldn't worry about that at all. You have to be more conscientious of your boundaries. And this is a major lesson about where to draw the line, how to protect yourself, but you do have fortune in business. So I wouldn't worry. This is going to turn out to be a happy ending. No question about it. But I get the feeling if you just ask your heart knows that answer, And what's the second question? It was about business.
What does she see about her business financially for her business? With the direction of that.
So I think the important thing for business, again, is that you have to listen to your heart and intuition. You are a little too mercurial. You're very much in your mind, and the mind is really cool, but the mind actually gets the answers from the heart and intuition. That's where our mind gets its answers. So this isn't a logical answer. So as soon as you are, so I do see fortune. Your astrology shows that, you're in a good place to receive some business in May. So May is very good, especially for inheritance. I hope no one passes away. But then again, in November is when there's a real money potential for you as well. So
I was feeling like a career, like a boost in her career around the fall time. That's what I was sensing with that.
Yep, I see a big money booster. But just look for where your ego's in the way. No offense, but you have a past life of kind of being just more of a fighter. And in this life, you're learning to kind of go along with the flow. And so it's the part of you that's resisting that's holding up this ride.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. We have two more, and we are actually two more people, and we're done. And then we can relax. I didn't really it was going to be this long, but I appreciate those of you guys who are also waiting. And it took a little time to get adjusted to get this off the round too. It's the first time I'm not used to interviewing somebody. I've always been interviewed, not interviewed. So it's very new, right? Very new.
The readings go twice as long because there's two opinions. So
I know that, but I didn't think that many people were going to want them today. So I wasn't very psychic about that. I didn't prepare for that, I would say. So next is a Kristen Walter. Let me get the information here.
Okie dokie.
Date of birth is April 29th, 1981. Monroe, Louisiana. I think LA is Louisiana, right? Making sure. 6:42 p.m.
Welcome to my world, bro.
What's that?
Welcome to my world. It's all dates of birth. What is LA?
Yeah. I lost my job at the end of last year, and I haven't been able to find another one. Am I going to find a great job soon, or am I looking in the wrong place?
Okay.
What did we say about this? What do I feel about the job? No, you haven't been looking in the wrong place. They're saying it's lagging right now. Let's wait for the lag. Yeah, I'm just going to pause because they're saying it's lagging right now at the moment, so we'll just wait for that to clear.
No worries. I have the answer.
Hopefully my answer matches.
It will. It does. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
We actually see the same thing. I noticed you're filling in parts that I didn't see, but it's the same story.
That's what I liked about a lot of those readings. Like you kind of filling in the gaps, and I thought that was awesome for them. Okay, so for me, I don't. Going back to the question about losing your job at the end of the year, haven't been able to find one. It's not about you looking in the wrong place. I still feel like you're not certain about. They're saying you're afraid of taking steps forward. I feel trepidation. Even though you want a job, there's a fear of starting something new. I don't know where that's coming from. There's a reluctance of that, and I think that a lot of this has to do with a fear of making the right decision. And so I think a lot of the hesitation isn't so much that you're not finding the right job, not like looking in the right place. It's the way you're looking because the trepidation of I don't want to make another mistake. I think for some reason you're beating yourself up subconsciously because you lost this job. You're not saying, "Oh, the circumstances created this loss of a job, so therefore, like it's unlucky. I'm getting another one." You're beating yourself up from this, like as if you did something wrong about this, and so you're like, "I need another job." You're pushing yourself in that energy, but you're at the same time like, "I don't want to make another decision," so you're keeping yourself stuck. So to me, it has nothing to do about the wrong place or the timing. I think the timing was yesterday, but you got to get out of the mindset of I did something wrong and I don't want to do it again, but I have to get another job. And so it's an emotional block that you have on this for me. Again, there's a lot of May energy going on in the collective here, and I think there's a lot of shifts going on in May, as Christopher can also specify. But I think I just May lit up for me with you. So either you made that realization in May, and you're just like, oh my God, I've been like just in this emotional funk and dragging myself along like a cancer. You might start realizing that, you know what, I get this now. I understand this now, what I really want to do, and I feel like there's gonna be more ease in May. And so it might trickle into May, June, July. So they're spreading out the summer for me of an option of something coming to you, not you going to it. Something's coming to you with this between May, June, July. They're kind of wiping this summer period of time. And they're saying, we don't want to give you a specific time frame because we don't want you to look out for a specific date. We want it to be vague, they're saying, and to appreciate the vagueness. It doesn't have to be always on the dime. And that's what's actually holding you back, actually. Christopher?
Spot on, actually. The core wound is having made the wrong decision in a past life. The irony actually was that you made the wrong decision in the people that you were connected to, not the job itself. So it's a relationship issue that you aren't listening to your heart, and that's the core issue. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for you to listen to your heart. Basically, you're being very mindful and mental. Your heart and mind, Mercury and the Sun, are actually 3 degrees apart. So as soon as your heart wants something, your mind goes racing off in a direction and leaves the heart behind. So it's sort of like you ask the heart, what do you want for dinner? Well, maybe something, and then boom, you're already off to the restaurant to buy it, and the heart hasn't even finished the order. So really spending more time with your heart, that's the issue. And so, ask yourself, what do I wish? What do I wish the job could be? What would be fun? You're basically coming into your heart. And what you're trying to do is Scott's precisely right. Like your mind is trying to not make the same mistake. You're not asking what your heart wants. So your mind is trying to is fixated on the mistake. You also got egg on your face in a past life too. So you have a couple of humiliations that your mind is trying to avoid having. And the reality is just go with what your heart wants and put yourself out there. And the timing is correct with what Scott says. It does show that between June and August will be when you receive an offer. Yeah. So I would actually, by the way, so Spirit's telling me, go ahead and apply for the stuff you would never be qualified for, but your heart wants. Like, go for it. You might be surprised about experience or whatever. You might be surprised. I'm getting the feeling you've looked past the job and thought you weren't qualified or something, is what I'm feeling. That your mind, again, that fear of having made a mistake or whatever, give yourself permission to be completely wrong and make mistakes, and you'll move faster. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And the second question with her is, sorry, I know it's been going on for a while. Why do I keep having such difficult time finding a good job and keeping it? Feel free to mention relationship. Well, we just did. We actually answered both questions that she had, because same thing. Why does it have difficult time, finding a good job, keeping it? Feel free to mention relationships as well. Same boat. So I think that we just answered both questions for her.
Yeah. The core issue is not keeping a job. It's what you do to yourself when you fail.
Right. Exactly.
So you're going to keep failing until you become a success at failure.
Right.
Basically. You don't know how to recover from a failure. is the issue. So you're going to keep manifesting failure until you learn recovery in a brother. And the recovery is listen to your heart, not your mind.
But I feel like she's going to get it this year, though. I feel like it's going to click with her. You know,
I agree,
with her. So,
and in 2 years, really the pinnacle of her career.
Right. So, we have Jai now. Let me find this because the information's so scattered. I get some of the information is in their initial booking, and some are. Do we do Kelly Tanner video? I don't know if I remember that.
Really?
Okay, no, that was last week. Okay, great. There's the lag again, so it gives me time to catch up here. Good. I'm just looking for Jai's information because I just have. Here we go. Because I am. Aren't you? How are you feeling on energy there, Sensei?
We're good. We're running down. We're gonna need some calories soon.
Yes, we're almost done. Okay, so Jai girl, date of birth July 18th, 2000, Sacramento, California.
Okay. Do we get a time on that?
I think we got it here in the text. Yeah, 5:02 a.m.
Okay.
And this thing is lagging, so let's see when it finishes again. Okay, wanted a general read on dating, love, and with my ex. Do you see that recircling anytime soon? Also, finances. I do manage wealth for family. How do you see this transparent? Okay. Hopefully, it's good. The lag. I'll just continue. All right, Jai. I love that X. You know, you're saying lag isn't again. Come on, YouTube. If that's the thing with the setting I have is kind of in the middle.
You can set the bandwidth yourself?
Yeah, you can do like low latency. I have like mid. If I do, like a higher latency, then it's like it's so behind the questions and the interaction so bad. So I put it in middle. Every now and then it'll get some lag to catch up, but let's wait for that to clear. Nita, just let me know when it clears because Sensei's getting tired. He wants to go to bed. It's later where he is.
I'll do it for whatever for the team though. I'm just saying.
They all want us wondering if we're going to do this again. So like next time, if we do decide to do it again, because they do like that, we'll have maybe like a sign up sheet where we can just limit certain people to do so, and this way we can cap out a certain amount. This way it isn't a free for all like that.
Sure, we know it's going to be a success though.
Yeah.
5:02 a.m. We have that.
Yeah.
78,000 Sacramento, California.
Yeah, we got you, guys. Is it better? No lags here. Okay, we're back. All right. Okay, all right, Jai, this is for you. We got everything in. As far as the relationship aspects, I just heard loud and clear. I'm getting like audibles. They're saying, drop it. So, the ex relationship feels very unhealthy to me. And I think this is one of those relationships that has to be finalized emotionally. So I know you're saying ex, but you guys both do this kind of dance back and forth energy. I don't think that's really benefiting both of you guys. I think, again, she's good at manipulating you emotionally, so you have to be very wise about when she's emotionally manipulating you. You seem very more sensitive and very more, I would say, naive when someone is in that emotional manipulation state. So you have to be more observant of this and making sure that you're not being taken advantage of in that sense and toyed with. And so I feel like that's what this X dynamic has been doing. And so I see it will recircle back to you. I don't know why I heard January. I don't know if this past January you had some sort of a rekindling and then it split up, or it split up in January. I feel like a major part there happened in January, which kind of recycles back in August. So there might be a reconnection in August at some point. And I think that, again, you should put your foot down. I feel like she is more the catalyst of the frustration and the turmoil here, not so much you, but you're allowing it too much. So that's what I advise you to kind of not do in your love life. Once you kind of get past that, then, I feel like you'll have experiences like white on rice in a sense, that you'll have more options beyond this. So it could be this year. I'm not getting a definitive on the timing, but, it could potentially happen this year. It could potentially happen late summer, but also can potentially happen, spring of next year. So it really is waiting on your severing of the tie of this specific relationship. With your finances and managing your wealth for your family, I see you moving forward on this. I think just finances is your arena for some reason. So I think that, overall with your own personal finances, any type of managing finances, working finances will be right up your alley. So it's really smooth. They're saying that you're kind of like ahead of the game on this aspect. So, and I feel compensation going in your favor. So that is actually really smooth to me. And so I feel a lot of things being settled this year. There is one contract that I think within the family that needs to be reanalyzed. So I would be very hesitant on signing any new contracts or any contracts that were signed, and making sure you're getting them relooked at, this year too. But other than that, I feel like everything will be moving forward in the financial sector. Christopher, and the first question was about just reading on his love life and the ex, and will he recycle anytime soon, and any insights on that?
I agree. I think here's the truth. You're reincarnated either celebrity or royalty, one of the two. And so you're used to being loved just for being alive. And so you're not really good at loving yourself. And you're learning how to love yourself again, because you're loved and adored for not really having earned it in a past life. You sort of are baffled that someone isn't showing up and just loving you. Like, what the F is this? So I feel like this is a lesson of loving yourself first. And because the way you love yourself is the way you're going to draw people in. You have karma with yourself, and you see the adoration of others as a reflection of your value. And that's not the case. Your value, and that's also why you're tying this to a money question, by the way. So your mantra is to love yourself and love yourself some more. And when you love yourself and love yourself some more, you'll start to draw on someone who also loves themselves. Because I think this person also has an issue loving themselves. And so the two of you are sort of like kind of codependently ping-ponging back and forth about, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. And really it's unsatisfying for both of you. I agree with the money. You're here to manifest like a mofo, and really it's time to focus on that. In fact, the key date for you will actually be the date of Unite the Light, May 18th. Some major good stuff happening to you around May 18th, May 19th, May 20th. So as far as manifesting for your career, yes, 100% it's going to rocket. And you might not be considering the right market, by the way. So again, go for the market that you want. But as far as love's concerned, the more you love yourself like a king, the faster your queen will come. That's the mantra.
All right, you ready for the finale here? The last.
Yes, it is the lucky final reading.
Last but not least, Sandra O'Connor. All right, we've got. I feel like we've run a freaking mile. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, Shai. That's sweet. And I hope I'm not on fire. That would hurt to be burning right now.
You're doing great. That's just your karma.
You've been doing great too. I mean, I never seen you read before too. Like with me, yes, but like I love watching your read. I love it's so specific. I love how specific you are with the astrology. I'm like, wow, I love it. Definitely is very, very precise.
Oh yeah, well I'm very precise. Yeah,
I'm saying I love that. I love that because I've had so many people do astrology so vague. It's just like, but you're so like your psychic ability is very much entrenched in it. I love it. All right, all right. Sandra is okay. I've grown out of my 20. Oh, sorry. Let me give you the deets first. November 19th.
Yeah, was it?
November 19th,
1969,
7:40 p.m. Hopefully everyone's still awake by now.
You get a city, Sandra?
Yeah, there's no city here.
Sandra, text us the city while he.
Yeah, Sandra, if you're in the room, Nina, if you can get Sandra's city of birth, and I'll answer the questions while we're doing that. This way, you can get that for Christopher.
I might actually have it on file. We'll see.
I have outgrown my 26-year marriage, and my soul feels it's time to leave and continue my spiritual path. Should I continue on this path, even though divorce will be a major disruption for my entire family? This is obviously going to be an emotional response because you know the answer. You know that, I want to go backwards on this and disrupting the entire family thing. Your contempt in this relationship is already causing disruption to the family, because when you're not giving 100% of yourself in the relationship and to you, the situation is draining from you. You're depriving your family of the 100% version of yourself. You're depriving your family of the spiritual expression of yourself. So in a sense, that is disrupting your family right now. People can get past conditional changes. People can get past, when things change in the conditional aspects. And so even with a divorce, and I feel like your children wouldn't necessarily, or those who are connected, wouldn't necessarily be that bothered as you think. I think you're using that as an excuse to not make the change. I feel like those involved in that would be affected by this divorce would be kind of on par and be kind of okay with it and understanding of the change. So I think you're overemphasizing responsibility on yourself here, which is why I think the marriage has not really been working, because you overemphasize your responsibility versus their responsibility. And so I think if you get yourself out of that mindset, you'll realize I have been depriving my family of myself. That has been a disruptance to my family. It's like they're getting 50% of me versus 100% of me. So that is going to change and move forward. So yes, you should continue that path, and you should. And let me clarify spiritual path before I say this too. A spiritual path just means that you're growing. Spiritual path does not mean that you're dancing to the age of Aquarius with sheets around your head all the time in your underwear. Like, that's not a spiritual path. Spiritual path means that you're allowing yourself to grow and evolve, and you do what's best for the soul. So that's what you should be continuing to do. And your soul is outgrown the circumstance. And those that love you will understand it and support it. And I feel like, again, the outcome of the divorce is not going to be as drastic as you think. I just think that it's an excuse for you to not make that change, but getting past the emotional limitations on such and allowing yourself to see you've been depriving yourself and that's affecting the family will allow you to make the right decision and do it with ease. All right, Christopher, your final say?
Okay, so we never got our city, so I'm going to go psychic in with what I have here. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is for all Scorpios. Like, if you're not happy, this is your opportunity right now to go follow what your heart wants. This is your opportunity. And ultimately, fortune is on your side when it comes to any kind of change or whatever. Here's the truth. You have your own personal ambitions that I feel have been held back for this person, and you've constantly been sort of you've been just sort of tied down. I feel like this person sort of lives off of your energy. This is me going off the psychic path right now. And this person is very used to being taken care of. It feels very old-fashioned. It feels like a 1950s sort of situation where you're like wearing an apron and cooking, and he's watching the game with a beer, and you're dreaming about being in other places, and you can't be because he's emotionally kind of needy. That's what I pick up psychically. So I honestly think that if you, so here's the real test. If your heart could have everything it wanted, and you knew it would be okay, what would your answer be? I think you would leave. I think you're just worried about the consequences. But, you have a lot of life in you left, and I think there's a lot of things your heart wants to do. So I think the lesson is you have to listen to what your heart wants. And the weird thing is, and here's the thing, I'll just give you a warning right now. This person's going to flip around as soon as you find out you want to go. There's going to be a lot of begging and pleading. So what I recommend is a temporary break and see how it works. I think you're going to end up wanting that break, but I think this person has to slowly open up to the fact that he didn't, he hasn't reciprocated. He's been it feels like he's been all taking and not giving is the truth.
That's right.
That's what I feel.
I agree.
And that's just psychic. But, as this 27-degree Scorpio, Jupiter's going to oppose your sun in really on the 16th, May 15th, May 16th. So I think you'll know by mid-May for sure.
Good. And hopefully she can get that breath of fresh air too, and that, because 23 years is a long time, and we put a lot of emphasis on how long we've been with something, and it's like it's really just emphasis on time, not the relationship. And so I think when we remove the emphasis of how long it's been, we can actually start being free about expanding outside of it and thinking outside the box and setting ourselves free. So we're so loyal to time all the time. I don't know why, but we don't put the time into ourselves. Why do we do this as humans? We're so low about how long we've been with something instead of putting the time into developing ourselves to move forward. Why do we do that as humans? And that's a figurative question, of course. But we have to put ourselves in check. It's a human condition that we do that. Oh, but I've been so loyal to this job. They treat me like shit, but I'm loyal to them, but they're not loyal to you. So we got to start applying that loyalty to the self and putting the time into the self. And I think that's when we have more of that clarity of change and how we can evolve. So I think that's great. And Christopher, no more. I guess we're done, right? And so people really enjoyed having you on. What's that?
We've only just begun, brother. We've only just begun.
Look, I'm so excited for our journey, moving forward together. I've been humbled with my experience of knowing you two and learning so much from you two. And so it's great. And so hopefully, we'll do this again, in the future at some point again.
Make this a regular thing, however regular that is, it's great. And for the record, Scott is the best psychic medium I've ever met in my life. And I've been doing.
You're kind. So I can clip that up and put that everywhere.
Totally. Go ahead. I'm sure I'm going to see it on loop here in about 20 minutes.
It's gonna be a GIF everywhere too. Share this, Sarah. Share it. And so, I think, and I have to say too, Christopher is one of the most genuine people I've met in the community, because there's a lot of people are doing it for the facades. A lot of people are doing it because they just want to get that recognition. And Christopher really just had the perspective. I want to help. I want to change the world. I want to do what I'm called to do, even though I don't want to do it. And I relate to that. And so I've never seen someone as specific as me. I've never seen someone that's driven, and so connect with some of that likeliness is very refreshing. And so, yeah, I'm very, very humbled by that. I'm humbled to have you on, Christopher. I thank you so much for coming on, and tell everybody where to find you tomorrow. I'm sure everyone knows anyway, but tell them anyway.
Namaste Today Live, which is on my YouTube channel, Serious Joy TV, the @Serious Joy TV. We go live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. It is a 3.5-hour marathon. The show itself is 90 minutes, and then I do a talk show right after that. But that's just because I want to be efficient. So come on down and hang out with us. It's going to be a blast. It's always a pleasure. We love you.
We love you too. And I guess our 2 hour and 30 minute was no strain for you. So that's good.
This is a piece of cake. This is a warm-up. What are we doing next, buddy?
All right, my brother. Have a wonderful rest of your night. It was a pleasure teaming up with you tonight. I really appreciate you.
My pleasure, brother.
Love you, brother.
Thank you. Love you too, man.
Good night.
Peace.
All right, guys. I appreciate every single one of you all for sticking around, and those who are also waiting for their readings. I really appreciate that too. It was a longer night than usual. I guess I could have planned it a little better. But at the same time, I think it was great for you guys to chat longer too. And so I appreciate every single one of you guys stopping on by. We will be doing a project. I was mentioned, Christopher and I are working on a project behind the table too with other wonderful, talented people in the spiritual realm. So we're excited to release that too. So you definitely want to drop those little eggs before that comes out. And the Unite the Light Conference is May 17th, 18th, and I think that's the dates. But you'll get more information about that. It's in Texas. Gosh, is it Austin? I don't know. I got to look it up. I'm tired. But you'll get more information. It's a conference. I will be there. Christopher will be there. There'll be presentations, a gathering, community, fellowship, all that great stuff. And we'll keep you posted on that as well. And for those of you who are watching and, maybe want a personal session with me, scottcruzpm.com is my website. It's in the description. And so you can book a personal session there. Mediumship, life reading, intuition builder is a course that I have that helps you develop your own abilities in psychic mediumship as well. Check it out there. We had Lafayette do a video for us for sound healing. Of course, it's too long. We're going to do it for next week. So Lafayette, we will have you on next week for some sound bathing. And again, Nina, I appreciate you. And so everyone have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And remember, you the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you want to create? Much love to you all. Ciao.
He said it was like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You said like there's something in your end table that you this too.
My God, you're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
Dude,
Does that make sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine, somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come out here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony